Morning. The City of Boston Zoning Board of Appeal hearing for June 22nd is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the provisions of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency that was signed by Governor Baker on June 16, 2021. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual meetings that it adopted during the COVID-19 pandemic until April 1st, 2020. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the WebEx event platform. This hearing is also being live streamed. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout, unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting will be limited by the chair as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project. That is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise your hand icon in the application via the WebEx event platform. To raise your hand, click the participant information icon. From there, find your name, and on the lower right-hand side, you should see a hand raising icon. Click the icon, and your hand will be virtually raised. Click it again, and your hand should go down. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *3 to raise your hand. Again, if you're connected by telephone, please press *3 to raise your hand. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then can provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Fortune reads the address in the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. These instructions will be repeated throughout the hearing. I'm now going to take a roll call attendance of board members. And just a reminder to board members, when you make a motion or a second, please state your name because we recognize your voices, but sometimes it's a little difficult. Mr. Fortune.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Mr. Ehrlich.
Here.
Mr. Ruggiero.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Mr. Legris.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Ms. Betta Barraza.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Ms. Dong is running a little late, but she will be on shortly. So just as an acknowledgement, this is a 6-member board. Mr. Hampton, BPDA. Jeff, are you on? I see his name, but I'm assuming he's on. So let's get started, Mr. Fortune.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the first extension, calling VOA 648-704, 1857 to 1859, Dorchester Ave. Madam Chair, this will be the third extension if we grant it. It is due to expire on June 30th of 2021. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Kevin Cloutier from the Cloutier Law Firm at 1990 Center Street in West Roxbury. I represent the owner, Jeremiah Realty Trust, as well as the builder, Stephen Connolly. It's more or less the same entity. And I do understand that we're asking this board for some considerate relief here by this third extension. All I can really state is that Connolly Construction, it's a pretty active developer, but it's a family.
Mr. Cloutier, I'm just going to interrupt you. May I have a motion for an extension, but I need you to know that this is the last extension we are likely to give, because I understand the impacts of COVID are still being felt. But just recognize this is the a extension, and please let your client know that.
Understood, thank you.
May I have a motion?
Motion for a 1-year extension from the date of expiration.
Second, Ligris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 687-533-51 Breed Street. Madam Chair, this will also be a third extension if we grant it. It expires on 6/30/2021. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Richard Lins, 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner. As the Secretary indicated, there was a 1-year extension granted from the original decision in 2019, and again, extending it out to June 30th of 2021. Madam Chair, the reason for this extension is this involves a relatively complicated site in Orion Heights. It is at 2 different elevations with a good deal of site engineering that is ongoing. All of the plans have been approved through the BPDA design review process. They are with ISD for permit issuance, and I believe...
Madam Chair, members, the permitting of the project has been hampered by the pandemic and related delays in city government.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Mr. Lins.
Sure. So I believe that we're just waiting for a consultant to review a couple of the code issues on the design with ISD, but permit issuance is imminent.
Thank you. That's what we wanted to hear. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for a 1-year extension from date of expiration.
Barraza, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next 2 cases, calling BOA 897-041-204 West 7th Street. There is a pending case, BOA 897-036-209-213 Tudor Street. Madam Chair, these are due to expire on July 12th of 2021. This will be their first extension on both cases. Name and address for the record, please.
Patrick Mahoney with the business address of 160 Federal Street, speaking on behalf of the developer.
Madam
May
Chair,
I have a motion?
I'm going to recuse myself. Just
Okay, so this is a 5-member board. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for a 1-year extension from date of expiration.
Second, Ligris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 796-336-435 Geneva Street. Madam Chair, this expired on March 15th of 2021. This would be their first extension. Name and address for the record, please.
Tim Johnson, architect, 599 East Broadway, South Boston. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Permitting of the project has been hampered by the pandemic and related delays at city government. We respectfully request an extension, Madam Chair.
So, Mr. Johnson, why is this late? This was expired March 15th, and we will grant this extension, but please let the owner know that this that we're not going to be looking any kindly on these requests that are late. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to extend for 1 year beyond date of expiration.
Second, Ligris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Calling the last case for extension, BOA 757-560, 27-31 Woodford Street. Madam Chair, this did expire on June 15th of 2020. This would be their first extension. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Good morning. My name is Ladies Afonseka, and I am requesting an extension due to some financial issues that arose and the COVID-19 pandemic. I wasn't able to, finish project. Hopefully, the board will grant me an extension.
So I just want to make it very clear to you that if we should grant the extension, which we will, when we grant the extension because of COVID, you need to make sure that you come before this board before the permit expires. So this has expired for all intents and purposes a year ago, okay? So just make sure to keep your permit live, you come in before the date. Otherwise, you will need to start the whole process from scratch. Okay, may I have a motion, please? And let's make it valid from today's date.
Yeah, motion for a 1-year extension from today.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
I'm going to call the 9:30 hearings for deferrals or withdrawals. If you could just give me the address first, please.
Hi, Mr. Secretary, 117 Coleridge Street.
Thank you. For the record, calling VOA 113-3499, 117 Coleridge Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Okay, before we get to this, I just need to tell you that this will be a 5-member board. Ms. Dong has not been able to join us yet. So I just joined. Get on the record. Oh, you did, Sherry. Okay, excellent.
Just joined, sorry.
So now we're a 6-member board. Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Derek Small. This is just a 51 Dobson Road, Braintree, Mass. We're here today seeking a deferral of this matter, 117 Coleridge Street, as the project has changed a little bit and it needs to be advertising.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'm recusing myself on this vote.
Motion for deferral.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And just for the record, that was Mr. Ligris who recused himself.
That's correct. I'm sorry for not saying my name.
No, it's okay. And the date, please?
We have a
Mr.
date of August 24th at 12:30.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Are there any other deferrals or withdrawals? Address, please. Are there any raised hands, Madam Ambassador?
I have no raised hands on my side.
Very good. Then I call the first case, calling DOA 119-3751, 28 Falcon Street. This is to convert an existing 2-family to a 3-family. The violation, Article 53, Section 8, a 3-family dwelling is forbidden. Article 53, Section 9, the lot area for new unit is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 53, Section 9, the height requirement is excessive, 2.5 stories. Article 53, Section 9, the side yard is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the rear yard is insufficient. Article 53, Section 56, off-street parking is insufficient. And Article 27T-5, this is in the East Boston iPod. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, sorry, Counselor, I'm going to recuse myself on this as well. Ligris.
So 6-member or 5-member board? I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
This is a 6-member board.
Thank you. Madam Chair, good morning. Richard Lynch, 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner. And we are before the board with respect to what the Secretary just brought into the record. This is a pre-existing 2-family dwelling located in the Eagle Hill section of East Boston. We are proposing to change the use of occupancy from 2-family to 3-family, which would involve an addition on the top of the building. The unit sizes are all going to be 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They range in size from about 886 square feet up to about 1,050 square feet. Of course, the building would be fully gutted and rehabbed with upgrades to life safety. With respect to the relief that is necessary, this is located in the 2000 zoning subdistrict. A 3-family is forbidden use. However, there are certainly a number of multifamilies in the immediate vicinity. This would not be an unusual use for this section of Eagle Hill. We were cited for additional lot area for additional dwelling units. I would point out to the board That is not applicable for any other use other than a two-family. So in this particular case, we don't necessarily require the relief for that. We do require relief for the floor to area ratio, which would be a proposed 1.25, which would be in excess of the 0.8 that is permitted. We are requesting relief, even though we are within the height limit at 34 feet total, we are required to request relief because this will be a 3-story building once the project is completed. With respect to side yard, there are existing conditions that are already non-conforming. We don't propose to exacerbate that condition any further. Any addition would be in line with the existing setback that is existing on the right side of the building that is non-conforming. With respect to the rear yard, we are proposing a condition that is about 18.7 feet if you measure it to the rear property line. This is considered a shallow lot under Article 53, and therefore 30 feet would be required under the code. We are entitled to take the exception and reduce that setback to 22.5. So the relief is about 4 feet total. Last but not least is parking. Again, this is a pre-existing two-family dwelling that has no parking. Article 53 permits us to make a change and add units, provided, however, that we're only required to provide parking for the additional unit that's being proposed. In this case, the zoning code would require only 1 parking space. Even if it were feasible, my understanding is the city's policy is not to permit curb cuts anyhow, but the requirement is only to add 1 parking space. I'm happy to answer any questions of the board.
And there is no roof deck proposed?
No roof deck proposed, Madam Chair.
How are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisa Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of the proposal. We do believe it's just a modest addition. The parking concern did come up in discussion with neighbors, but they also have the support of the Eagle Hill Civic Association. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Ricardo Patron from the Office of City Councilor Lydia Edwards. Councilor would also like to go on the record in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Sabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I do have one raised hand, no one else's. All right, caller 13, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please? Hi, caller 13, 857-247, you've been unmuted. No additional raised hands.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forth a motion of approval with BPDA design review on the exterior.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Calling the next case, calling VOA 118-4800, 25 Claremont Park. This is to construct a 4-level wood frame rear extension on a concrete footing and 3 side decks. The violations, Article 32, this is in the G-Cod applicability, and Article 64, Section 9, townhouse row house extension into the rear yard is conditional. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mark Lacasse, Lacasse Law, 75 Arlington Street in Boston, attorney for the proponent, and with me is Sean Griffin, the project manager for the developer. Before you are 2 conditional use permits, Madam Chair, one for a groundwater recharge system and the other for extension into a rear yard in the south end where the extension exceeds 50 square feet. Would you like to do the G-Cod portion first?
No, Christian, are you on?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both the BWSC approval and no harm letters.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we have the letter as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So please go ahead and talk to us about the decks. We're interested to know whether they are bracket supported and how it works.
Yes, so Madam Chair, on the screen before you is a rear elevation, and what is shown is that the entire rear of the building is being bumped out by approximately 4 feet 6 inches from the existing rear facade. the full width of the rear of the building. As you can see, there are 3 small decks that are part of that rear bump out, not in addition to. So the rear decks bump out 4 feet 6 inches from the rear facade as part of that rear extension, which also adds approximately 631 square feet of living space. So they're supported as part of that whole structure that's being added to the rear of the building.
And tell us about the roof deck.
The roof deck was pre-existing and was a repair subject to landmarks review, but not the subject of a zoning code refusal letter.
Thank you. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Okay, any questions from the board?
I noticed that the BPDA commented on the issue of the structure for the balconies. I'm wondering if Jeff is on. Or Ms. Better, if she wants to comment.
Well, it appears that the comment is really for extension of deck, but this seems like it's a full building extension. It's not one that's cantilever, so it doesn't really apply to the design. But I do have a question for Mark. Have you had South Landmark District review the proposal? And what was their feedback?
Well, we have to get zoning relief first before we can go to landmarks. They don't have jurisdiction until the zoning relief is granted. But this is at the rear of the building, so I suspect that they'll make a determination that there's no jurisdiction to review. So it would be subject to BPDA design review.
Okay, great, thank you.
Is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition of this project?
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Faisa Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, we have no raised hands.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion of approval with BPDA design review and to pay special attention to the base of the rear.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 118-3223, 340 West 2nd Street. This is a change of occupancy from 29 residential units and 1 commercial space to include fitness and use personal training studio in a commercial space. There's no work to be done. All the work has been completed. The violation is Article 68, Section 7. Fitness center is a forbidden use. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mark Lacasse Law, 75 Arlington Street in Boston, attorney for the owner of the proposed fitness center, Stacy DiMartini, who is also on this hearing. Members of the board, this is a new building on West 2nd Street in South Boston that consists of 29 residential units and an 1,100 square foot commercial space at the ground floor, which was previously approved by the BPDA and this board in 2014. There was litigation, it was settled, and then this board approved the final iteration of the building in 2018. Construction is fully completed. The residential units are occupied to some extent, and the proposal in commercial space is for a private training studio to be run by Stacy DiMartini and a couple of other trainer employees. So it's not a full-size gym. It's a private training studio where the trainers work one-on-one. In this board's decision approving the building, it approved that space as commercial use, but not a specific commercial use. And because this is in the MFR subdistrict, essentially any commercial use requires zoning relief. So we are seeking.
So let's find out, let's get a bit more information about the fitness center. Can we find out what the hours of operation are, what the anticipated volume of people in there at any one time?
Stacy DiMartini is on. Stacy, can you unmute yourself and answer the question about hours?
Stacy DiMartini here. Yes, so ours would be by appointment only, as it's one-on-one training with a trainer, and there would be no more than 8 people in there at once.
Any Zumba classes or music or anything like that that might affect the residences above?
No group fitness classes, music on the minimum, no group training going on.
Excellent. How are the plans?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this project?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would also like to go on record in support of this. There is no impact to the community, considering this is already built, and we're excited to see a women-owned business come to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Ana Calderon from Councilor Flynn's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Sabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no raised hands.
Before we have a motion, I'd like to make sure that the record indicates that this will be a personal training studio, so that down the road there is no assumption that this is a larger fitness center or gym, a larger concept fitness center or gym. So may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forth a motion. I'd like to put forth a motion of approval with the proviso that it only applies to this applicant only for a personal fitness space.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. You're all set. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Call the next case, calling BOA 116-6332, 15 Jess Street. This is a curb cut. The violations, Article 10, Section 1, insufficient side yard buffering, and Article 55, Section 9, insufficient open space. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, I need to recuse myself.
Thank you.
Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, I don't see that name in the attending section. They didn't check in earlier.
Okay, let's move to the next
Yeah,
case.
we'll come back to it. Calling the next case, calling BOA 117-6804, 15 Rocky Nook Terrace. This is a third floor dormer addition. The violations, Article 55, Section 9. Floor to area ratio is excessive. Article 55, Section 9, the building height is excessive in stories. And Article 55, Section 9, the side yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Jeff Pfeiffer. I live at 15 Rocky Nook Terrace, Unit 3, and I'm the homeowner.
So tell us what you're proposing to do.
Sure. We just are looking to add dormers to an existing living space in the attic to give us about 300 more square feet for our family with 2 children. All of the zoning violations are all pre-existing. This was originally a 2-family, it was converted to a 3-family well before we bought it, and that pushed us over FAR. Side yard's not affected, and the height of the building is also not affected. So we're just dormering the 2 sides, just to add about 300 square feet, and then also bringing the roof and all of that up to code. So.
And what's the anticipated use of this space?
It's a master bedroom. There's already a bathroom up there, so we're just improving the bathroom. There'll be a laundry, which is also already up there. And then a flexible living space where we can send our children upstairs to stop them annoying our downstairs neighbors.
Okay, how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board?
Maybe you should get a patent on figuring out how to avoid annoying kids.
I wish we were better at it than we are.
Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition to this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisa Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record and support this proposal. It's a modest proposal. There were no issues that were raised during the abutters meeting, and they do have support from the JP Neighborhood Council and non-opposition from the Brewery Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
Anybody else speaking? Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Asabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have no raised hands.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan, for City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty, Council to go on record in support.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forth a motion of approval with BPDA design review, special attention to the scale and pitch of the dormer.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you all.
Call the next case, calling VOA 116-6573, 60 Crawford Street. This is a change of occupancy from a two-family to a three-family. New exterior egress, 3 off-street parking spaces. The violations, Article 50, Section 29, insufficient side yard. Article 50, Section 20, additional lot area. Article 50, Section 43, off-street parking and loading. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Stephen Pettipass. I'm the architect for the project, 7 Stimson Street in Boston. This is an existing two-family home with a fully finished attic area. We're adding 420 square feet to the third floor to create a third unit. And because the existing egress within the building does not conform, we're adding an additional egress stair out the back for that particular unit.
Was this particular address before the Board of Appeal in the past?
No, I don't believe so. The owners' families lived here for 80 years, and I don't believe they've ever been in front of the Board of Appeal.
Okay, and tell us so I'm looking at the photo. If I'm looking at the front of the house, are those parking spaces on the left-hand side part of this house?
Well, yes. Currently there are parking spaces for 4 cars. ISD considers the width to be not sufficient for the number of cars that are there. So what we've done is, because we have a handicapped member of the family living here, we've created a handicapped parking space at the rear, eliminating the two of the existing parking spaces to create the minimum of 3 parking spaces required for a 3-unit building.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms.
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Yes, okay. Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, Secretary here. Mr. D'Amico has spoken this regarding 60 Crawford Street. He says okay for 3 spaces, one of which is the handicap parking.
Okay. Ms. Better, everything is fine on the floor to ceiling height?
Yes.
Okay. Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition to this proposal?
We have no raised hands.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forth a motion of approval with BPDA design review.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Calling the next 2 cases, calling BOA 118-5544, 10 to 18 Bowden Street. There is a companion case, BOA 118-5560, 100 to 104 Bowden Avenue.
Madam Chair, I need to recuse myself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling the first 10 to 18 Bowden Street. This is a 4-story mixed-use building on Bowden with 3 stories of residential over a ground floor retail and residential, for a total of 32 units and 3 retail stores with basement containing 34 parking spaces. This will be 1 dwelling of 2 on the same lot. The violation, Article 65, Section 41, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 65, Section 42, conformity with existing building alignment of the block. Article 65, Section 42, 2 dwellings on the same lot. Article 80E, Section 2, small project review applicability. Article 65, Section 15, a multifamily dwelling, 32 units is conditional use in a zoning subdistrict. Article 65, Section 16, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 65, Section 16, the height is excessive. Article 65, Section 16, the side yard is insufficient. Article 65, Section 39, screening and buffering required. Screening and buffering. This is for 100 to 104 Bowden Avenue. This is one building with 3 attached 3-story townhouses. Violations, Article 65, Section 41, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 65, Section 42, 2 dwellings on 1 lot. Article 65, Section 15, townhouse dwelling units is a conditional use in a sub-district. Article 65, Section 16, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 65, Section 16, the side yard is insufficient. And Article 65, Section 42.2, the conformity with existing building alignment of the block is off the line. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Adam Hungley from Goulston and Stores at 400 Atlantic Avenue in Boston. I'm here with Dominica Mann from Codman Square Neighborhood Development Corporation and Alberto Cardenas from DHK Architects.
So I just want to put it on the record that this is a 6-member board, so you will need 5 members in support for this to carry, okay?
Understood, thank you. So it's noted this is the first of 2 back-to-back hearings on a 2-building project at the intersection of Bowden Street and Bowden Avenue in Dorchester. The project might actually look familiar to some of you since it appeared before the board in 2015 and for subsequent extensions. This current project is very similar, but there have been a few adjustments over the years. For example, adding some residential units to the ground floor. We've discussed the zoning and the site with ISD, and we all agreed to sort of respect the zoning process, that we basically start over and submit new applications and new appeals and request new zoning relief. So this first part focuses on the larger of the 2 buildings. It's a 32-unit residential building with approximately 4,000 square feet of ground floor retail space and 34 parking spaces. Just FYI, all the units will be affordable at 30 to 60% of AMI, and there's a mix of unit sizes to accommodate a variety of individuals and families. So if Alberto is on, I'll allow him to speak for just a minute or 2 about the plans, and then I'll very quickly summarize the zoning relief we've requested.
Thank you, Alberto Cardenas, DHK Architects. As Adam mentioned, this is a mixed-use building with affordable units of the 3 stories of residential above, containing smaller units, efficiency 1 and 2 bedrooms. The first floor contains retail and 3 units, including 1 3-bedroom unit. The lower level under the building in the parking garage contains parking for both the retail and the residential uses, and there is a substantial rear yard with amenities for the residents.
So tell us about the townhouses, please.
The townhouse building facing Bowden Avenue holds 3 3-bedroom units in response to the need for larger family-type units. And they each have their own private entrances, their row houses. They have a small private patio in the rear, and they're connected to the amenities of the major green space in the rear.
And what's the average unit size in these townhouses?
The townhouses are 1,346 square feet.
Okay. And then going back to Bowden Street, can you give us the breakdown of the studios 1, 2s, and 3s, and the average square footage of each?
Yes. So.
Oh, maybe I would speak, Madam Chair. Hi, and good morning to the board. We have about 5 studios, 7 1-bedroom, 19 2-bedroom, and 1 3-bedroom in the mid-rise building. And they ranges from 500 square feet up to 1,000 square feet in range. Just
So those, what are the average sizes of the studios then?
About 500 square feet.
And the ones?
The ones are roughly around, a little over
About
500
750?
feet. Yep.
And twos?
They range from around 900 to about
1,000, less than 1,000 square feet.
1,000 square feet, yeah.
And threes?
The threes are just about 1,100.
Okay, so these are just above micros.
Correct.
Okay, so let me just see, any roof decks proposed? No.
No.
Okay, underground parking, okay. How are the plans, Mr. Ehrlich?
The drawings are fine, they're comprehensive. There is definitely a contemporary look to the design, especially the 104 Bowden. And I'm just curious as to what the architect designers think that does for neighborhood context.
The design has gone through both D&D and BPDA and a number of neighborhood meetings that vetted the project, and it evolved through those meetings to the current design. It is somewhat more contemporary. It picks up on some traditional elements of construction, including the projecting bays in the townhouses, the clapboard with siding, etc. So, and it's scaled to coordinate with the triple deckers in the neighborhood.
And it looks like there might be opportunity for decks, individual decks, because I don't know what your open space requirement is and how you're meeting that.
We are far above the minimum open space required. The rear common area is quite generous, as you can see from the site plan.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Any home ownership component, or is it all rental?
It's 100% rental. There are no home ownership component to this particular project.
Has a contractor been selected for the project?
We have been working with the contractor, but the contract agreement has not been executed.
And who is your proposed contractor then?
Waypoint Construction.
Okay. And it looks like you have surface parking?
Correct.
Any proposed screening and buffering against your abutter?
The surface parking is actually at a lower level in relation to the abutter. So there's a change in grade with a retaining wall that creates a buffer or a barrier between the eastern property owner triple decker and the surface parking.
Okay. And do you have an anticipated use for that commercial space?
We are currently seeking tenants for the retail space.
Okay. Okay.
How big is
Sorry?
How big is the retail space?
Approximately 4,000 square feet.
Okay, and you have the ability to subdivide it into thirds, basically?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Madam Chair, we have new letters of support.
Good morning,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, members of the board. Dustin Gardner on behalf of City Councilor Andrea Campbell's office. We would like to go on record in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would also like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have no raised hands.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Sabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
I know Jessica's taking a break. Who is the new Miss Ambassador for now?
It's Jessica, she's with me, Francis, I'm just training her to back up.
Oh, I see, okay, thank you. Anybody, no raised hands? May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve with BPDA design review.
Madam Chair, I'm really sorry to interrupt. Should there be two separate votes since there are two separate case numbers here? I just wasn't sure.
And we call them in together so we can have a combined vote because it would be a ditto kind of thing.
Understood. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Second, Ligris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
So much.
Calling
Much
the next
appreciated.
case, calling BFA 118-4776, 879 to 881 Blue Hill Avenue. This is a change of occupancy to include a cannabis dispensary. The violation is Article 60, Section 16. Cannabis establishment is conditional use. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Josh Zakum, 257 Commonwealth Avenue, for the applicant and owner, Shane Cranmore, who is here. Other team members, including architect Arthur Chu, are present to answer any questions. I'd like to turn this over to Mr. Cranmore, the owner of this facility and future dispensary. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh. Good morning, Madam Chair and the board. I also have my father, who's my landlord, in the room with me, and we have our building consultant, Wadros Phoenix. But thank you. I'm the owner, 100% owner of Soft Estate LLC, doing business as Greenberry, which is located at 879 Blue Hill Ave in Dorchester, in a commercially zoned area. My family's owned the building for over 30 years, so I've lived through the ups and downs, highs and lows, but very grateful.
Sir, can you get back right to your proposal? Because we do like to understand from the applicants about what their plans are, their hours of operation, how loading and unloading occurs, and what the different checks are for somebody to get into the building. Okay?
Yes, great. So yeah, our hours of operation will be from 10 to 8 p.m. Monday to Sunday. We'll be hiring a minimum of 6 security personnel, including our director of security. We'll have over 38 cameras on location, and with another 6 cameras outside covering our 2 parking lots. I've been lucky that my father's given me full site control of the 2 parking lots.
So let me ask you, how many spaces do you have in that lot?
25 spots.
25, okay. And how many sales spots do you have?
There's 25. We have an employee parking lot of 18.
Uh-huh.
And we also want to allow the Angel Street residents, which are my closest abutters, access to that during snow emergencies. That was a major issue on our street that we came together and talked about, and we saw that could be a solution. But that's just for employees. Employees will only be allowed to come in once per day and leave once per day.
Okay, let's see. Can you, now that we have this plan up, can you talk through how this is going to work?
Yeah, so when you pull in through Angel Street, through our private parking lot, you'll be greeted by security that will walk you into the front door. Once you walk into the front entryway, you'll have 500 square feet, right around 500 square feet of waiting area, where you'll have to go through another security check and through our host. Once all your IDs check out, you'll be granted through a secure door with a card reader, and you'll be greeted by either a bartender or a host in the lobby that will walk you down into our sales area. Our sales area is around 3,000 square feet, and our lobby is about 375 square feet. So we have more than enough room to adequately get people in and out. We have 500 square feet of bathroom space as well.
And tell us how deliveries are going to occur.
Oh, great, yeah. So deliveries, they'll be off hours. We want to be able to do them either early in the morning or late at night, just to kind of keep the track off. But you'll be able to pull into, we have a gated lot, so we'll be able to pull into the gated lot. And it's at the top northeast part of our building, which is the safest part of our parking lot. And once you pull in there, there'll be cameras, and they'll be greeted with a security personnel unloading everything. And if you notice, that part of that section of the building is closed off to customers. It's just for storage and back of the house employees.
And so let me ask you, are you at all in proximity of schools?
We cleared all the buffers.
Okay.
We have the Boys and Girls Club and the tennis center, which is across the street. I've had communication with them, but it's more than enough room to clear the buffers.
So let me just ask you though, optics are important. How are you going to control for potential lines in front of your building, especially with the kids across the street?
Well, very good. So we have, because I've been given 100% the site control of the parking lots, those parking lots are just for my business. So we'll have it, we'll have a security maintained out there 24/7 when the business is open. And in order to get in, it's gated, so you'll have to have a car drive in. You'll be greeted from security, so we'll know. And it's in the back of Angel Street, which is away from Blue Hill Ave and where the schools and the tennis center is. So it's pretty much sits in itself and pretty private.
And might I add, Madam Chair, that there's also, as Shane mentioned, in the lobby area where there's another entry and another security checkpoint, several hundred square feet as well. There's no anticipation that there will be much queuing at all outside, but even if so, would be limited to the parking lot, which is to the rear of the building.
Yeah,
So can you put your name and address on the record, please, Josh?
Sure, I apologize for not doing that. Josh Zakum, 257 Commonwealth Avenue.
Thank you. Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I have, yeah, you talked about, you're right near Franklin Field and the Sportsman Tennis Center. How far are you from the proposed cannabis location in Grove Hall? It's Pure Oasis? Yeah. Yes, 0.69, I think it's believe 0.65 to 0.7 miles away. Okay, so you're over half a mile. Yeah, we clear the buffer as well. Yeah, okay.
Mr. Kramer, I know that Madam Chair asked about the Boys and Girls Club. What has your communication with them been?
I've reached out to Mr. Harry Thompson twice. I reached out to him on the 21st through Representative Russell Holmes, who's been a great support to me throughout this whole journey. He's that I reach out, try to start some dialogue there, just letting them know that my business would be coming. I sent out my presentation from on the January 21st and introduced myself. And I also sent them some more communication on June 12th of 2021 to the Boys and Girls Club, talking about some of my aspirations that I'd like to do. I know that I wouldn't be able to help out through my company, but I'd like to help out through personally. I was born and raised in sports, so something I connect to a lot. So kind of very excited to be able to help out the tennis. I went to the tennis camp for 5 years of my life growing up too, across there. We've owned this building for 30 years. I used to get out the camp and run over to my building with my brothers and dad working in there. So,
but I think the point is, that, we have a new generation growing up here. And how do we make sure that this kind of use is contained on site? Because, I think we still see the model in Brookline as not being completely, and it's in Brookline, so it's none of our business in a certain way. But, you have a lot of youngsters going to school in proximity, walking by, even though they might clear the buffer, there is certain things about optics, about lines and whatever, and that's the thing we're just trying to talk through with you.
Yeah, so we hired a prevention of diversion youth officer that will on our company, Mr. Stephen Grace, and he's worked with the Boston City public school systems before as well. And we also know that we will have, because of the amount of area we have in there, we want to make sure that we have a dedicated security guard on the outside of the premises, making sure people go right to their car. That lot, if you see that lot, it's gated, it will be gated, so you won't have the ability for kids just to walk in there.
There'll be cameras on all sides of the Franklin Field light right there is great. Cameras right there, but on Angel Street, we'll have all that covered. We have 3 cameras on the south side of Angel Street and on the east side of Angel Street covered. So there will be no loitering or any type of kids hang around that area.
Any other questions?
The building currently is unoccupied, right?
My floor is currently unoccupied, yes.
Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Morning, Madam Chair. Morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Dante Peoples from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of this proposal. We would ask the applicant to please continue outreach with community stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we have support letters as well.
And Madam Chair, I have 5 raised hands. Start with Denise. You've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Denise August. I've been a former tenant at 881 Blue House, and I do support this organization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Right. Caller 17, you've been unmuted. 857-247.
Hi, good morning, Madam and Chair members. My name is Kennedy Garcia. My address is 112 American Legion Highway. I'm just calling in support for the situation. Myself and my family have met with Shane about the building and its whereabouts and its location. And I just wanted to say that, everybody in my neighborhood is 100% ready for and willing to receive them in the neighborhood.
I'm sorry, did you say your address is American Legion Highway?
Excuse me?
Did you say your address was American Legion Highway?
Yes, madam, 112.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and caller 5, you've been unmuted. 617-534. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Shirley Shillingford. I am the director of the Mattapan Food Pantry. I've been doing it for 29 years. And I knew Shane Cranmore from he was a little boy growing up. And what he has become today, I am so proud of him to know that a young man who was brought up in the neighborhood can just strive for achievement and success. And I do want to support him. I believe him because I've watched him grow. I know that he's not going to tell you something that he's not going to honor. And so because of that...
Thank you, Ms. Shillingford. Thank you.
Right. And caller 15, you've been unmuted. 857-321. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, how you doing? My name's Jose De Jesus. I'm living at 16 Froma Heights. And I just like to go on record supporting this project. I've met the guy, Shane Cranmore, a few times. He came up and talked to me recently about the project. Everyone in my building is excited to hear this and see this place open up. People here need jobs, and from what I hear from him, he's saying that he's willing to hire people from the community, and that will be a great opportunity for everybody here. And he seemed like a great guy, college graduate. Seemed like a great guy. I've met him a few times, so I'm definitely in support with this.
Thank you. I have one more raised hand. Caller 14, you've been unmuted. 339-216. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hi, good morning. My name is Sheena Mendizabal, and I am I live in 30 Angel Street. I just wanted to say that I have met with Shane, and he has talked to me about his project. And I feel he's a very nice person. He knows what he wants to do. And he has also helped my support group for people that have been displaced due to fires. So I support him 100%.
Thank you. Can I just remind people to lower their hands as well once we call on you? Madam Chair, I have no additional raised hands.
Mr. Applicant, just one more question that was kind of triggered by the comments. So what is your plan to hire employees? What is your plan to hire employees?
So my seven of my first major contracts have all gone out to minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses. Something that I truly hold to my heart. I don't try not to just say words that I don't mean, and I'm kind of proving it. We'll have between 15 to 30 jobs for people living here, as the vast majority of our employees will come from Dorchester, Angel Street, Franklin Hill, Talbot Ave, Blue Hill Ave, and other places.
So what is your outreach process? Because you did say you'd have 18 employees, but you will have a total of 15 to 30 jobs. Is that what you said?
We have 18 parking spots for employees.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, in case they.
Okay, so you're okay. So you'll have 15 to 30 jobs, and tell us specifically how you propose to hire people from the community. Are you using community groups? What is your strategy?
Yeah, so we will have a diversity officer. I want to hire a diversity officer that will be able to take part and help with that. I've owned a business already in Lowell, and a lot of at the time, a lot of my employees did come from that area. I'm someone that just from growing up here and for 30 years, I hold it very dear. I know there's a lot of good people over there that could do the job, and I think that if we could have them and not have to create any more traffic because we live in that area, and we could help out with giving subsidies and different things for the MBTA and the bike programs, that's something I think that will help make the neighbors happy as well as us as a business.
And Madam Chair, if I can just add, when the Cannabis Board unanimously approved this application, it was, quite a bit was about the employment and outreach plan and Shane's longtime connection to the community and dedication to hiring locally.
Okay. Okay. And this is purely can a medical somebody with a medical card come shop in your facility?
We don't have medical, but they could shop at our facility.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forth a motion for approval with BPDA design review on exterior, including signage, and one additional proviso, which is disapproval is only for the applicant.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I will oppose, Livers.
Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 116-5117, 1744 to 1750 Center Street. This is to demolish an existing gas station and construct a new bank building and drive-through ATM. The violation is Article 56, Section 15. The drive-in bank is conditional. Article 56, Section 40.1, conforming with an existing building alignment of the block. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Kamal, are you going to be speaking on behalf? Oh, it's your attorney here.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Salima Karam, and I live on 75 Ashcroft Street, Durham, and I commute a lot in West Roxbury, and lots of my coworkers are females, and I oppose.
We're not taking testimony right now, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Kamal, can you hear us? Oh. Elias, are you on for this case? Are you going to be speaking?
Yeah, I'm just opposing though.
Okay, sorry.
Is the applicant on?
Should be. They checked in. Kamal Karam, you've been unmuted. Can you hear us? When he checked in earlier, he mentioned his attorney was going to be on.
Ms. Ambassador, we'll just go to the next project while they're getting their act together. Okay.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 982-948-4843 Washington Street. This is a change of art from a two-family to a three-family by legalizing the existing third-floor unit, expand the third-floor unit by extending an existing dormer, and legalize the third-floor unit. A violation, Article 56, Section 39, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 56, Section 7, a three-family dwelling use is forbidden. Article 56, Section 8, the building height is excessive in stories. And Article 56, Section 8, side yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Kevin Cloutier with a business address of 1990 Center Street with the Cloutier Law Firm, Roxbury. And we are seeking to change the occupancy of an existing home that does have a third-story unit that is currently non-legal and was so when my clients purchased this property in 2018. So we're seeking to legalize that third-floor unit, and the only work proposed would be an expansion of the existing dormer on that right side, which will allow for much more headroom and a more comfortable and desirable living area. The violations include use. This isn't a two-family zone, but by way of mitigation, there are a number of 3+ family homes in this area, including 6 along this more immediate stretch of Washington Street. With respect to the height, we're actually not raising the height of the building. It's existing at 36.1 feet, but by legalizing that third-floor unit into habitable living space, it increases the actual stories from 2.5 to 3, and it is a 2.5 zone. But again, we're not actually adding any height to the building. The side yards, we are not are pre-existing. We're not making.
Mr. Cloutier, tell us about the size of the proposed unit in the attic.
Thank you. Well, the proposed unit, third-floor unit, will be 989 square feet. Will include 2 bedrooms, a full bathroom, a kitchen, and the living room. It will be slightly smaller than the first floor and second-story unit that are both 1,268 square feet.
And tell us what the floor-to-ceiling height is in this proposed unit.
In fact, I do have the project architect, Mr. Driscoll or Roach, can handle any specific design questions.
Hi, Gavin Driscoll. The height of the new dormer will be 8'2", and then in the existing bedrooms, there's a 4-foot knee wall, and it goes up to 10'2" because of the pitch of the roof.
Okay. It's kind of a handsome building. I wonder what these dormers will do to it. And we did see that project that's just down the street at this board, so very familiar with this. Ms. Better, how are the plans?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jack Duggan, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Just want to go on record in support. The applicant completed a full community process and more recently went before the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council on April 27th and received their full support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan for City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty, the council on record support.
Madam Chair, we do have 2 raised hands for the previous proposal, so we have no additional hands.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion of approval with BPDA design review on the exterior and paying special attention to the size of the dormer.
Thank you.
Second, Joe.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 1170179, 10 Grove Street. This is to swap 1, add 1 equipment cabinet, add 3 hybrid cables, swap 3 and 6 radio units, and swap 9 antennas. The violation, Article 56, Section 11, the height is excessive. Article 9, Section 1, this is an extension of a non-conforming building. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair and the board. This is Russ Palmer from Transcend Wireless on behalf of T-Mobile, proposing that we make some modifications to this existing tower at the West Roxbury Freshstone business. And as was stated, we're swapping 1, adding 1 cabinet. We're not adding any height to the existing structure. We're just swapping out equipment that is there for the groundwork for 5G.
Look in here.
So, let's see, Ms. Edwards, can you please get us a plan that shows it, where it is on the site? Or Mr. Palmer, can you explain how that is supposed to work?
Yeah, so if you look, yeah, you can see the picture there. It's basically in the middle of the crushed stone plant, or I don't know what you want to call it there, but and again, it has been existing since '04, and we received approvals in 2012 and 2015 to do similar work to this.
Okay, so, so you're just changing the equipment cabinet, so how does that change? Does it get smaller, and where is the equipment cabinet? Is it visible from any place?
Well, it probably would be visible. I think the tower itself is visible, but I believe the cabinets themselves just look like part of the tower. The cabinets are located on one of the levels of the tower. So the ones that'll be swapped out, they may be a little bit heavier, but we've received a structural analysis that has passed. And, we're not adding any further antennas, we're just swapping out what was there. So there should be no real change to the tower itself.
How are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Fortune, any thoughts about what these antennas look like?
Actually, Madam Chair, I actually got notified on this one, and as you know, I live right next door to it, but the crushed stone has always been a good neighbor. I don't see a problem with it personally.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition to this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jack Duggan, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Just want to go on record support. The applicant completed a full community process and went before the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council on April 27th and received their full support as well. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Wasabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan for City Council, Large Michael Flaherty, Council to go on record in support.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands for this proposal.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put a motion forward for approval with BPDA design review on the exterior to ensure that there's adequate buffering and coverage on the base of the tower.
Is there a second?
Second, Ligris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 118-3368, 4415 Washington Street. This is an addition to existing one-story, a two-bay repair garage, 72 foot in length by 15 feet width, and adding 3 bays. The violation is Article 9, Section 1, extension of a non-conforming use. Article 67, Section 11, repair garage is forbidden. Article 67, Section 33, the special provisions of the corner lots and the front yard setback is insufficient. Article 67, Section 30, screening and buffering. Name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Dermot Doyne. I'm here today on behalf of George McCall, the proponent. We're proposing basically extending the service bay area. Previous to this, there was a gas station and it had gas, long hours and gas service. These gas pumps have been removed, the canopy has been taken away, and the focus now is to simply add 2 work bays to the existing building, and the proposal changes will diminish traffic and impose the aesthetics greatly on this site. In addition, there's going to be sufficient off-street parking, whereas prior to this, there was transit use in a lot of street parking.
So let me just ask you, so your bays would essentially, if I'm looking at this right, go out to where the old gas station
Correct.
was, right?
And everything,
And where is your proposed parking?
the proposed parking is going to be on site. There's going to be minimal parking on the site itself. My client lives directly adjacent to it, which he has a park strip there. But for the most part, this is going to be a very 8 to 6 garage with minimal parking use and minimal, everything is going to be serviced on the lot. We're not looking at taking away, in fact, right now we have curb cuts existing from the BDD, which everything's going to stay in place. We're just basically cleaning up what is a dilapidated kind of building, which goes back 50 years. The existing use is going back 50 years. And
Sorry, let me just ask you, it's 8 to 6, Monday through Friday?
8 to 6, Monday through Saturday.
Okay. And how many parking spaces will you be providing?
Well, it has an area which can accommodate 20 parking spots.
20 parking, because I know there's a parking garage not so far down the street, and they park their damaged vehicles on the street, so just to make sure that you have enough capacity. Let's see, how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisa Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support. We believe that there are support letters on file with the board, and the applicant's been working diligently with their neighbors to minimize impact to the community, and also work on the overall number of cars that are on the lot. So we encourage him to continue that work, and at this time we have no concerns. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here. We have no support letters, but we do have one letter of opposition.
And what is the opposition based on?
It's a next door neighbor. Obviously, he is opposed to the 30-plus cars plus the 5 tow trucks that go out there all day long.
We can actually speak to that.
No, hold on. Let me just see if there are any other comments either in support or in opposition.
We have 20 letters of support.
No, please hold on. This is, we are conducting a hearing here.
Madam Chair, I have no additional raised hands.
Okay, so now I need you to respond to the parking for the tow trucks and your screening and buffering. Are you proposing any?
So there was no parking for tow and truck because the gas station is removed and the building will start construction. So all the tow and truck will be out of the lot.
Okay, and please put your name and address on the record.
I'm sorry.
Is George?
I'm George McCool. I'm the owner of 4415 Washington Street. Sorry.
Good to have a face to the name. Thank you. Okay. I think we've covered everything. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion of approval with BPDA design review on the exterior and also BTD review.
So let me just
signage as well.
Hold on before everybody jumps in. So, Ms. Better, the design review is
for the exterior.
Is on the building.
Correct.
On screening and buffering.
Correct.
And on signage, should there be signage.
Correct.
Okay, and BTD review, because the goal is to reduce the curb cuts.
Exactly, and to also just review the parking layout.
Okay. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You're all set with that proviso. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 119-3055, 196 Park Street. This is to construct a 2.5-story addition on the rear of the dwelling, violation Article 56, Section 8, the floor area ratio is excessive, and Article 56, Section 8, side yards insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good day. This is Beth Gangemi. My husband are here, John Gangemi. We are the owners of 196 Park Street.
So tell us what you're proposing to do.
We're proposing to extend the back of our house on a non-conforming existing setback to make it accessible to our handicapped daughter who is in a wheelchair.
So let's just see. So we're looking at the plans. Okay. So the access would be through the, okay. How are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
The plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition to this proposal?
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jack Duggan, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Just want to go on record in support. The applicants completed a full community process, went before the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council on May 25th and received their full support. In addition, they have support letters from a bunch of their direct abutters. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Peter Favorito from City Councilor Matt O'Malley's office. The councilor would also like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Good morning,
members of
Madam
the board.
Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Sabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan, for City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty, council to on record in support.
And Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve with BPDA design review on the exterior.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 118-3043, 230 Washington Street. This is to raise the existing structure and erect a 9-unit residential dwelling with 15 parking spaces. The violation, Article 51, Section 8, 9 dwelling units is forbidden. Article 51, Section 56, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 51, Section 57.2, conformity with an existing building alignment. Article 51, Section 9, the additional lot area is insufficient. Article 51, Section 9, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 51, Section 9, the building height is excessive in feet. Article 51, Section 9, the side yard is insufficient. Article 51, Section 9, the rear yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Sorry, Councilor, Madam Chair, I'll be recusing myself on this matter. That's Lakers.
Thank you. With Drago and Toscano with a business address of 11 Beacon Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, and with me I also have Tanya Carrier from Culsa, who is the architect on the proposal. As was mentioned, this project, we are proposing to raise 2 existing structures. Currently, that is what you're looking at now is the new building proposed. There are 2 buildings on 1 lot, so it's currently a pork chop lot. And we are proposing to...
I'm sorry, is it a pork chop lot or 2 buildings on 1 lot?
It's both. It's front to back, Madam Chair. So if you look at the existing red mark where it says 230, there's a smaller structure in the back behind it. It's about 3 feet off the property line in the rear.
Okay.
And so
is it on the same lot?
Correct, yes. Both are
It is on the same lot, but it's 2 buildings on the same lot. Okay, got it, okay.
We're proposing to erect 9 residential units with 15 parking spaces below grade. They would be accessed along Washington Street through a curb cut with a ramp that would go under the property. The lot size in total is 10,175 square feet. And just to give you the unit breakdown, These are all family-style units. There would be 3 two-bedroom units with an average size of 1,015 square feet, and then 6 three-bedroom units with an average size of 1,496 square feet. The floor plan would work as such. One, the basement level or submerged level would house the 15 parking spaces. It would house bike racks, a trash room, mechanical, and elevator. The first floor would have ADA accessible handicap ramp in the front of the building, making the building accessible. It would also house units 1, 2, and 3. Those are 3-bedroom units with 2 baths, and they also have outside elevated patios off to the side. The second floor of the building would house units 4, 5, and 6. Those are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bed, 2-bath, and a 3-bed, 2-bath. Those would all have balconies in the back of the building. We also have third floor, which would house units 5, 6, and 7, and those would be 3. That would be a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-bed, 2-bath, and a 3-bed, 2-bath, and those would all have balconies as well. The violations, as was mentioned, this is a 2F district, even though we have the 2 buildings on 1 lot now. 9 would require a variance for MFR. The additional lot area would be cited, so it's 1,500 for each additional unit, so 5,175 additional square feet. Our FAR, which is allowable, is 0.8. We're proposing 1.36. Our height is slightly over, so we would meet it in stories because this is a 3-story building, but we're proposing 37 feet and 35 feet is the max. Our side yard is 2 foot 7.5 and 5 feet, and what's required is 10. The minimum rear yard, so right now there's only 3 feet on the existing building. By raising that building, our rear yard would be 17 feet 2 inches. 40 is what's required, or 20 is what's required. And then for parking, we tried to go with a high parking ratio with 15 spaces, but 16 would be required, so we would be 1 short of the requirement.
Okay. Let's just see. Okay. So access is from Washington Street below grade. What's the distance between your side neighbor on Washington Street?
So that's so we have it's a corner lot, so it would be the street, across the street on Shannon Street on one side. But then on the other side where the house is, we would have, there's 5 feet, or 2 feet, 7.5 on one side and 5 feet on the other.
So it would be 5 feet with your neighbor on Washington Street.
Correct.
And any roof decks proposed?
No roof decks, just the balconies and then the outside patio areas as well.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board?
I have one.
Go ahead.
I just, it's a good sized building with generous sized units. How did we arrive at 9 units?
So, thank you for the question. In working with the community, the push was for family-size units. So again, parking was a very big issue. So we were cognizant about balancing. The process went on for 2 years about unit sizes, having the larger bedrooms, but not sort of putting too much parking in the neighborhood as well. So that was the balance, and that's why and also with the height, so that's why we supported everything underneath the property as well. So.
Is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support. We commend the applicant for working diligently with their direct abutters, specifically on transportation concerns, and they have agreed to provide both bike facilities and also those 15 parking spaces that you see attached to the 9 units. Thank you.
Good morning, this is Maura McCrae from Councilor Breeden's office. The council would like to go on record as being in opposition to this project. We've seen a significant number of projects in this district that are proposed to be at exactly 9 units so that they are not required to include income restricted units, and that includes this project and many projects from this proponent. This project may include family-sized units, but most families will not be able to afford to live in these units. We are also concerned about the number of parking spots included in this project. We appreciate that the proponent is responding to the abutters' concerns, but this project is located very close to transit. So we would like to request that that all parking be unbundled from rent and that the stackers only be installed if there is demand for increased parking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Annabella, you can unmute yourself. Oh, go ahead.
Madam Chair, Secretary, we have letters of support and letters of opposition.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Annabelle Gomes from the Brighton Austin Improvement Association. The proponent had worked very closely with the abutters and the neighborhood. At first, they were very much against the project. They really worked hard in reaching a design that they're very happy with and cleaning up that lot to make it a prominent corner lot. The parking was one of the biggest concerns to them. Right in that little area, the parking is very, very tight, and they really insisted on having that amount of parking, not less, because of the current situation there. Even though it is close to transportation, that was a very big concern of the neighbors and one of the reasons why they support the project, and we'd like to go on record in support. Thank you.
And we do have a raised hand from John. You've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please? Hi, John Christo.
I'm sorry, I accidentally did that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see my name. Sorry. Yep.
I have no additional raised hands at the moment.
May I have a motion, please?
I would like to make a motion to approve with BPDA design review.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead, is there a second?
I'll second that motion, Secretary.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I'm opposed. I think the councilor's comments about the 9-unit avoidance is a real problem.
Okay.
Same.
Motion does not carry since this is a 6-member board, so it's been denied.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, it's now 11:02. I'm going to call the 11 o'clock, before I go back to the other 2 cases, I'm going to call the 11 o'clock cases for deferrals or withdrawals. So if you're on, you can give me the address.
Hi, my name is Jing. I'm
Your
calling
address,
for
please.
171 Everett Street, Ward
For the
22.
record, hold on 2 seconds. For the record, calling BOA 117-2461, 171 Everett Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Jing Mai, Boston, Massachusetts.
Clock. Address, please.
Yep. My name is David Troy.
Address, please.
411 Chelsea Street.
All right, for the record. Calling BOA 113-350-2411 to 413 Chelsea Street. There is a companion case, BOA 113-354-6411 to 413 Chelsea Street. Name and address for the record, please.
David Troy, address is 23 Princeton Street.
And what are you requesting? Are you requesting a withdrawal or a deferral?
Borough, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry? A deferral?
Madam Chair.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for deferral.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The date, please?
We have a date of August 24th at 12:30.
Thank you.
Are there
Okay,
any
see
other
you then.
deferrals? Are there any other deferrals or withdrawals for the 11 o'clock cases? Hearing none, I'll go back to, I'm going to call in the order that he didn't answer. Bear with me, Madam Chair. Calling BOA 116-6332, 15 Just Street. Is Just Street on? Madam Chair, can you tell if anybody is on from Just Street?
Halsey, do you know who the applicant is for Just Street?
I have Mr. Alvarado.
Ms. Better, do you know who the applicant is besides Mr. Alvarado, who might be representing him? No? Okay.
The owner was on earlier, it looks like he came off. I no longer see his name on.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I'm going to make a motion for denial without prejudice.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And for the record, I'd like to just make sure that Ms. Better it's noted that she's recused herself.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm going to call the other case BOA 116-5117, 1744 to 1750 Center Street. Is Center Street on? Is Mr. Nuthman on?
I believe they chatted earlier.
Or Mr. Roscoe?
There's an Elias.
No, I think he's in a butter because I think you called him before, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion to deny without prejudice.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we start on the 11 o'clock cases, it's now 11:07. We will take a few minutes break and resume at 11:15.
Mr. Fortune,
Yes.
it's Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I'm back. What happened with 117 Coleridge?
It
The
was,
second
Morning. The City of Boston Zoning Code of Appeal hearing for June 22nd for the hearings at 11 a.m. is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the provisions of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency that was signed by Governor Baker on June 16, 2021. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings that it adopted during the COVID-19 pandemic until April 1st, 2020. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the WebEx event platform. This hearing is also being live streamed. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting will be limited by the chair as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project. That is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise your hand icon in the application via the WebEx event platform. To raise your hand, click the participant information icon. From there, find your name, and on the lower right-hand side, you should see a hand-raising icon. Click the icon and your hand will be raised virtually. Click it again and your hand should go down. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *3 to raise your hand. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then can provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Fortune reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant information is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. Mr. Fortune?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calling the first case for 11 o'clock, calling BOA 118-5696, 106 to 108 Bunker Hill Street. This is a change of occupancy from a restaurant to 6 residential units, construct a 2-story addition and a rear addition to an existing 1-story building. The violations, Article 62, Section 25, roof structure restrictions, Article 62, Section 29, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 62, Section 29, off-street parking, loading requirement, inappropriate maneuvering area. Article 62, Section 7, a multifamily dwelling use is forbidden. Article 62, Section 8, additional lot area is insufficient. Article 62, Section 8, the floor-to-area ratio is excessive. Article 62, Section 8, the building height is excessive in feet. Article 62, Section 8, the usable open space is insufficient. Article 62, Section 8, the rear yard is insufficient. And Article 9, Section 2, this is a change in the non-conforming use. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is George Moranci. I'm an attorney with the business address of 350 West Broadway in South Boston. I represent Vahid Nikfor in this matter. The project architect is Tim Sheehan. The location is 106-108 Bunker Hill Street, which is at the corner of Ferrin Street in Charlestown. Madam Chair, the original application had a roof deck. That is no longer the case, so the violation for restricted roof structure has been eliminated with the current set that the board can see on screen now. Madam Chair, members, this is an application to construct a two-story addition, including a two-story addition in the rear on the second and third floors only, to an existing single-story building, which is currently a restaurant, and to change the occupancy to 6 dwelling units while eliminating the restaurant. There would be 4 off-street parking spaces or 5 on grade in the rear of the building. The resulting 3-story building would be, it would have a common basement with storage and mechanical space only, so no living space in the basement. Each floor would contain 2 dwelling units. The first with...
Excuse me, Mr. Morenzi, is this the only set that we have? Is this this one-pager?
No, that was, there should be a full set of plans. That single page, there, these are the plans.
Okay,
Single page
thank
was
you.
submitted just to provide context and with respect to blue bikes and zip car.
Thank you.
Yep, and so the first floor would contain 2 two-bedroom units of 739 and 1,012 square feet. The second and third floors would have, each would have 2 3-bedroom units ranging from 1,175 to 1,325 square feet. On the second and third floor levels, the rear units would each have a rear deck of 23 or a balcony of 23 by 5 feet. There are no roof decks being proposed. That was, as I said, originally proposed, but the community was opposed to any roof decks. The relevant zoning subdistrict here, this is an RH 1500 row house subdistrict with a minimum required lot size of 1,500 square feet for 2 dwelling units. 6 units are being proposed in this traditional 3-decker, which is just over 36 feet in height, which is consistent with virtually all the surrounding buildings, although there's a new 6-story building directly across across the street on the other corner of Ferrin Street. So 4,500 square feet would be required for the 6 units, while the lot size here is actually 3,325 square feet. The maximum FAR is 2, and the proposed FAR is 2.4. The building is listed as being 1 foot 2 inches over the maximum 35-foot building height. This owes to do mainly to the existing 12-foot height of the existing building. Since this is an ALT application, this is not new construction, or it's not not an erect permit. But if looking closely at the plans that are now on the screen, that 36 feet 2 inches is actually to the top of the parapet rather than to the roof line. So I believe that the building's height to the roof line, which is how zoning height is measured, is actually in compliance with the code. The code requires 150 square feet of usable open space per dwelling unit. As I mentioned, 2 of the units in the rear have balconies of 115 square feet, and originally proposed roof deck open space was eliminated. The required rear yard setback for this lot is 25 feet. The actual setback on the second and third floor levels only is about 15 feet. At the ground level, the setback's approximately 31 feet. And in the rear, as was seen on the site plan, which was shown first, there would be a 3-yard dumpster for the building's residents. My client has also agreed to include trash compactors with each unit, which was a request of Councilor Edwards. As I mentioned, there are 5 proposed parking spaces in the rear, which might initially look like a situation that does not work, but I do have to point out that there's an existing double width curb cut on Ferrin Street where the 4 spaces are arrayed in parallel formation. There's no parking whatsoever allowed on Ferrin Street, and the other side of Ferrin Street beyond this site is really just one entire curb cut for parking for the 6-story building across the street. And in the rear, where that perpendicular car is located, perpendicular space, that's a private way, and there's also access from that private way with no curb being present. Additionally, my client has agreed and has signed a lease with the nearby parking lot, and he has a letter that he provided to some of the abutters to demonstrate that he does in fact have a contract for any excess or overflow parking that would be necessary. He is prepaying for a year of parking, as these would be rental units. But again, the 5 are being provided, and I also point out that the site is within about 500 feet from Blue Bikes and Zip Car locations in Hayes Square, and is also very proximate to 4 MBTA bus stops. With that, I'll pause and I'll take any questions that the members may have.
Okay, so I think you've covered everything. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are sufficient.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support of this proposal or in opposition? Please get your hands raised.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is John Romano from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We received a significant number of support letters for this project, and at this time, we'd like to go on record in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Ricardo Patron from the Office of City Councilor Lydia Edwards. The applicant made several changes to this proposal at the request of the community, including removing the roof deck and the trash compactors, as Attorney Moranci stated. Councilor Edwards would also like to go on the record in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Wasabi George's office, would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I have 3 raised hands. Robert, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Robert Chase. I live at 88 Bunker Hill Street, Charlestown, Mass.
Okay, go ahead.
I just think this whole thing is kind of excessive with the units. There's definitely no parking there. They addressed it that they're going to rent the spot for a year down in Terminal Street, which is about a half mile away. I asked the question, what happens after a year? And I was told, well, people don't, you have cars in Charlestown, they have the buses. You know, I strongly disagree with that. We can't even get a parking place now. To put at least 6 more units and at least 6 cars minimum, they just don't have the space.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. So can I ask the additional speakers, if you're speaking in opposition, this speaker talked about the density and the parking. Please add new information.
Madam Chair, may I speak before the secretary? I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
We have letters of support. We also have a letter of opposition, and the opposition was basically what the gentleman just spoke of.
Thank you.
Okay, caller 27, you've been unmuted. 617-242. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure, my name is Paul Sullivan, and the address that I represent is 100 Ferron Street, also known as 110 Bunker Hill Street. I am the senior building right across the street from this property, and I want to put on record that I'm in total support of the residential only component of this property and taking out the restaurant. The parking situation is a little bit tight, but I don't think it's going to be a problem here because there's dedicated 2-hour parking on the street that which will probably be eliminated as well.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Can I hear from the next person?
Yep. Mr. Alder, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please? Hi, Gerald.
Morning. Yep, good morning. This is Gerald Adler. I live at 28 Monument Street, which is just 2 blocks away from the proposed structure. I am in support of this project. I agree with the gentleman who just spoke that I don't think parking will be an issue. I drive to work every day and there's no issue whatsoever with finding parking in Charlestown. I think this will be a great addition to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no additional raised hands, Madam Chair.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would like to put a motion forward to approve the project with a proviso to reduce parking to 3 and to have BPDA and BTD review.
Mr. Fortune, did we have an opinion from BTD on this one?
I did not see anything, Madam Chair. Let me just double check the folder again. I do not see anything from Mr. D'Amico at all.
Okay, so Ms. Better, maybe would it be better just to say approval with design review and BTD review? Because that way, if
so BTD review should determine the adequate amount of parking spaces that would fit on the site. You know, my theory was that it was assuming vehicle access on Hickory Ave, and it's a very difficult site to fit 5. But there is clearance for 3, but I think we can leave it to BTD to determine.
Excellent, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 112-9472, 753 East Broadway. This is a change of use from office space and bagel shop to bagel shop and 4 dwelling units. Violations Article 68, Section 33, off-street parking and loading requirement. Article 68, Section 8, usable open space is insufficient. And Article 68, Section 8, additional lot area is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Tom Miller, McDermott, Quilty and Miller, 28 State Street, Suite 802 in Boston. We are here before you today to change the use and occupancy of this existing building on the corner of East Broadway and L Street in South Boston. I am joined today by the property owner, Ms. Joy Lee, and the project architect, Devin Riley Marini of Chu and Company Architects. This property is located in the MFRLS zoning subdistrict of the South Boston Neighborhood District. The project proposes changing 2 floors of existing office space into 4 residential condo units, creating much needed, reasonably priced home ownership units in the South Boston community. This use fits with the character of the surrounding community and the intent of the zoning code in this multifamily residential local services subdistrict. It will create 2 new 2-bedroom units of approximately 689 square feet and 2 new 1-bedroom units of approximately 530 square feet, with no work to the exterior of the building. We are here
I'm sorry, so Counselor, may I ask you some details here? So there's 2 2-bedrooms, 2 1-bedrooms. I'm assuming this will be rental?
No, these are going to be condo units.
I'm sorry, so these are going to be condo. Any roof deck proposed?
No, ma'am.
No, and will the exterior be upgraded in any way?
It'll be cleaned up, but there's no change to the exterior of the building.
Okay.
The plans show a fire escape addition to the front units, but after the community process, we are no longer including that, and we've you can see in that elevation that's currently on the screen, the exterior doors on the front portion of the building and the connecting stairway to the existing fire escape have been removed. We are not going forward with that, and we have made the interior staircase compliant with the fire code so that that's not required in order to create a safe means of egress for the unit.
And so that door next to the entrance, the door to the entrance of the bagel shop, is that the entrance to the building?
So the raised door, if you're looking at the front elevation, the raised door that kind of is almost on parallel with the Boston Bagel Company is the main entrance to the building. The smaller side door is the access to the trash and emergency egress exit.
Okay, thank you. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of the proposal. There was extensive community process conducted by my colleague Haley Dillon. They've had a couple of abutters meetings, most recently in April, and they have met with the Cityside Neighborhood Association. There were significant concerns around trash mitigation, that fire escape that you heard about, rodent control. They've worked diligently with neighbors. The outstanding concern remains parking, which is still unresolved. They're not proposing any, but at this time, we do feel comfortable supporting the project. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board. Ana Calderon from Councillor Flynn's office. The councillor would like to go on record in opposition due to feedback from neighbors, direct abutters, and the City Point Neighborhood Association, who have all expressed concerns about the number of units proposed, lack of parking, and trash removal issues. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, City Councilor Anissa Rasabi George's office, and would like to echo the sentiments of Councilor Flynn and oppose this project. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan, for City Council at large, Michael Flaherty, echoing the sentiments of Councilor Flynn, standing with the neighbors in opposition, as well as Article 68 considerations. The council like to go on record in opposition.
Madam Chair, Secretary here. We do have letters of support. We have one letter of opposition, it's basically parking.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have two raised hands. Eileen, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please? Hi, Eileen Smith.
Hi, good morning. Eileen Smith, 776 East Broadway, South Boston. I'm a resident and a butter. And I am opposed to the project because it's excessive as far as the trying to accommodate the capacity for potentially 6 cars. There has been meetings in the past. There's all sorts of issues that remaining that impact the direct abutters. The area that was designated and shown to you for trash could not possibly facilitate the trash for 4 additional units and a commercial bagel store that exists currently. I did hear you folks talk about trash compactors.
Thank you, Miss Smith, thank you. Can we get the next person,
Yep,
please?
Richard Hayes, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Richard Hayes,
Your address?
757 East Broadway, which is the direct abutter. We share a common property line. I don't want to, again, following the chair's lead, I'm not going to reiterate the previously stated objections, but we've had the abutters in the community have had very great difficulty in trying to get any kind of accommodations from the developers on this. It's they say they want to do things, but they don't ever do anything.
So let me talk, and let me have you comment on the specific proposal. You know, this is a change from an office space to 4 dwelling units. So what are your trigger concerns about that? The bagel shop stays.
The density of the number of units up above. My house is in the abutters going up the street for 4 houses, all have driveways. Each and every one of us have problems with the bagel store and Starbucks, and we will have problems with they are allowed to build this unit with people who will have cars. They block your driveway or they pull into your driveway.
So if I get this right, your concern is with the pickup, the people who pick up their orders from the bagel store and the Starbucks, causing a traffic and parking impact on you as a resident.
I'm stating that because I don't want to reiterate the other ones that I've heard, which is the number of units. It doesn't support it. The neighborhood, it's a tremendously busy neighborhood. And to put 4 more units in there is going to add density when the vast majority of the homes are single-family homes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, any more raised hands?
Yep. Rusty, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yep, absolutely. Rusty Bellsinger, my address is 57 L Street. So I live very close to the proposed property. I just want to say that I am in favor of the residential properties being built. I think that'll actually help us with the traffic. Right now we have, yes, the Boston Bagel Shop there, but there's also 2 commercial properties that are there currently. And I've lived in the area for 10 plus years. Commercial property is going to draw more traffic, more log jams with cars, and more trash than a couple small residential units. I don't own a car, so I also think those units are going to appeal to people in that demographic who probably won't have a car. They're going to use public transportation. So once again, I only see positives.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. O'Connor, just quickly, just say whether you're in support or in opposition, because we need to move on to a motion.
Okay. You've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record?
City Point Neighborhood Association. City Point Neighborhood Association will stand with the direct abutters insofar as opposition for trash parking and density.
Thank
I
you.
do also want to bring up,
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for denial without prejudice.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sorry, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Calling the next two cases, calling BOA 119-1648 5 Y Street. There's a companion case, BOA 119-2978 5 Y Street. This is to confirm the legal occupant as a two-family dwelling and extend living space into the basement and attic. Off-street parking. Violation Article 55, Section 9, the floor-to-area ratio is excessive. This is for 5 Ys, proposed 2 off-street parking for 5 Y Street. Via Chestnut Avenue and the proposed curb cut. The violation Article 55, Section 40, off-street parking and loading requirement, and Article 55, Section 9, usable open space is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Derek Small, business address at 51 Dobson Road. With me today is Mr. Chris Parabas, who's the project architect. Madam Chair, we're here today seeking to extend the living space of this existing two-family dwelling into the basement and into the attic area. We are also creating 2 off-street parking spots in the rear of the property. The zoning subdistrict is a 3F5000. The violation on the first address, Mr. Fortune read it to the record, is the FAR. The required FAR is 0.6, and with the extensions, the proposed FAR will be 1.3. With regard to the parking spaces, Madam Chair, they are seeking to place 2 parking spaces in the rear of the property, as was shown on the site plan.
Okay, so just talk me through this, because I'm having a bit of a hard time understanding this. So you're looking to confirm the legal occupancy as a two-family.
Yes.
Okay, and so you're claiming that this, and how do we know that this is a confirmation of a two-family? Is there anything on the record that meters or anything else that indicates that this is an existing two-family?
Yes, there are 2 meters in the building, and ISD, it was confirmed that it is already an existing family.
Okay, and so what is the occupancy proposed for in the basement?
Chris Parabas, Chris, you want to speak on that? The project architect is on it.
So the if we can go to A 1.1, that'll show the basement level, but it's essentially it's residential. So a majority of the space is made up of 2 bedrooms, some mechanical space, a bathroom. That would be part of the lower unit, and there is some common space for both units that is on the left and bottom side of the page.
So tell us about the floor to ceiling height in the basement and the floor to sill height in the basement.
Okay, so floor to ceiling height is, it varies. So there's some spaces that I want to say that are as low as 6'5". I think it's in the mechanical room, and then the 2 bedrooms themselves and a portion of the hallway is at 7'3". That's the existing condition, and we would be looking to most likely excavate down to get the proper ceiling height in those spaces. And then if we go over to the exterior elevations, that would be the last page, A2.1. It basically, you can see the existing grade there. So if we look at the left side elevation, that probably is the best indicator of it. The rear of the house, we're looking at roughly 5 feet 2 inches below grade. Obviously, we're going to be we'll probably be, once we excavate, the depth of the basement will be a little bit deeper than this, because this represents the existing condition.
Okay, so just tell us again, the distance from the floor to the window well, or the sill.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got you. So that would be from floor to the sill of the window?
Yeah.
Okay, so floor to the sill would be, by code, is no more than 44 inches.
So, and I'm looking at this map here. What's the distance between the outside wall and the property line where the bedrooms are proposed?
It's 3.9 feet is the dimension.
3.9 feet. And
Correct.
so once the window well is in there, it would basically take the bulk of that space, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay. So tell us about the attic use.
Attic is exclusive, would be exclusive to the upper unit. And if we can go back to A1.2, and you can see on the right side, that's the attic level. So it would be made up of 2 bedrooms, bathroom, and then circulation to get you down to the lower levels.
And so is this are you proposing a dormer up there?
There is. So there's a dormer on the right-hand side that is, it's more than 50% of the length of that side of the structure. So if we can go back down to the elevations, you can see the dormer itself. Well, there it is, right there.
Okay, so this looks like it's a gut rehab because the building looks like it's in bad shape.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so tell us about then the parking. Talk us through the parking. Is that on your property then?
It is. So if you look at 5 Weiss, the 2 parking spaces that are part of the building are actually fronting on Chestnut Street.
Okay.
So there's a new curb cut there as well to accommodate those 2 spaces.
Okay, and what's the width of that curb cut?
The curb cut, if you can zoom in, I want to say it's 16 feet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's 18 feet.
Okay. Okay, so this looks like an interesting project. I just want to say off the bat that this board is not inclined to look favorably on basement units or basement occupancy, but I'll just leave that out there.
Madam Chair, if I could, it's just might add that those are the existing conditions with regard to the space, living space in the basement. We are just simply gut rehabbing the building.
So, but we don't, is there any track record of those basement spaces being legal or not? Because, you know, there's a lot of interesting things that go on in this city. And so we just can't be, we just cannot be part of something that was.
Understood.
Okay, so.
Understood.
Thank you, Councillor. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a few questions. And they're going to go over ground that you've already covered, Madam Chair, but I wasn't quite clear on all the answers. And I recognize, Mr. Small, these are existing conditions. Nonetheless, you're asking for a variance with these particular conditions. I believe the architect said that it was 5'2" from the floor to grade, and that you have to dig down at least another 3 inches because it's 7'3" ceiling height now, and in order for a 2-family to meet code, you have to get 7'6". So that means, by my calculation, it will be 5'5" underground. Is that correct?
Mark, can I just correct you? For 1 to 2 unit, the building code is actually 7 feet of clear height. It's only for.
You're right. You're right. So it's for 3 units. It's 7'6". But the architect said that they were going to dig down.
Right. I don't think he was aware.
No, if it's not necessary, then we're not going to dig.
Okay, but so it's 5'2" below grade. Is that correct? I don't have. I mean, I'm looking at the drawings on the screen. Too small for me to read them. Ms. Better, is that correct?
I believe what you're getting at is that it's submerged. You know, the bedroom units would be submerged, and this is something that we don't really approve.
Yes, so, I mean, 5'2" is a lot, and if it's a 7'3", that means there's only 2 feet above grade to the ceiling. So, I mean, the issue of natural light, the issue of sort of the thick, dank, dungeon-like quality of the underground unit seems pretty clear in this. So that's one thing. The other question is, can we go back to the site plan? Because it's rear yard parking. You've got a wide curb cut. That's a separate issue. But it's rear yard parking off of Wise, but it's front yard off of Chestnut. So it's a little odd there. Is that,
Yes. Yes, the parking is in the rear of the 5 Wise property, and it comes off of Chestnut Street. That's correct.
Right, no, I understand that. It's in the rear of 5 Wise, but it is direct. But if you're driving along Chestnut, you'll see there'll be a curb cut and there'll be cars parked right up against the sidewalk.
Right, so it'll appear as front yard parking, which is not allowed.
Well, I mean, technically it's rear yard because the address is 5 Wise.
5 Wise.
But for all practical purposes, in relation to Chestnut, it's front yard. I mean, it's just a strange, it's an odd situation anyway.
Mr. Ehrlich.
That is correct. And again, those are existing conditions.
Mr. Ehrlich, Mr. D'Amico has spoke on that, so I can put it into the record if Madam Chair would like me to do that.
Yes, please go ahead.
So this is from Bob D'Amico at BTD. He said 5 Y Street, the 2 cars located on Chestnut Street do not comply with BTD standards. One of the vehicles actually minimally overhangs the sidewalk. On Y Street, 4 cars cannot maneuver safely. I suggest the number of cars be reduced to 3 and placed on a 60-degree angle.
We're only proposing 2.
Yeah, I think you have the wrong.
The record.
Okay, thank you. So go ahead. I'd like you to, go ahead, Ms. Better.
My understanding was that the major issue is that with parking, you are removing the open usable space.
Right.
So that I think that's a kind of a larger issue, that there is no open space.
Ms. Better, if I might, Jeff Anton at the BPDA, that's what our recommendation alludes to, is that, approval of the living space, the expansion and the legalization of living space. But to Mr. Ehrlich's point, you don't want to be driving down Chestnut Ave, having houses, and then all of a sudden parking spaces. We prefer it to be actually a backyard.
Correct.
I would agree.
And then going back to that living space, the part that still continues to trouble me is if there was an issue in the basement and somebody needed to make a quick exit through the window wells, is there enough room for them to maneuver since it is this close to the property line? And it looks like the property line may be fenced.
Aside from that, there are 2 means of egress out of the basement.
Okay. Excellent. Okay.
Yes, this is Chris. For bedrooms, you have to have particularly bedrooms in basement spaces like this, you have to have emergency egress windows plus window wells that meet a minimum criteria. And the minimum criteria is a 3-foot by 3-foot clear well that gets you out of that space. But here, what we're looking to do is go 3 foot by a minimum of 4'6" to kind of make that space a little bit more passable.
Okay, so this is 3 by 4'6".
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition to this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of the proposal. They do have support from the JP Neighborhood Council. We haven't had any opposition thus far through the community process, but we do defer to the board regarding considerations around the parking, and the basement unit. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have no hands raised, just one from the previous case.
Okay. Given that information, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve with a proviso to not include the bedroom units on the basement level and to do not approve the parking at the rear.
Okay. In basement, and you're making a motion denial of 11-92978. May I have a second, please? Is there a second?
Yeah, I was going to oppose this, but with Ms. Better's provisos, I will second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's a split decision, Mr. Small. So good luck. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. Have a good day.
You too.
Madam Chair, before we go to the next case, I just want to take care of the
recommendations.
Yeah, from the subcommittee, but we also have a little work we need to do on 31 Willis Street. So I guess the plans for the office was not there. We did not have it, but we have the applicant on the phone. So I'm going to make sure that we call this in for the record before I go to the other recommendations. So I'm going to call BOA 117-4196 31 Willis Street. This was replaced an existing shed, the pergola, a 12 by 18, the second floor to the home office and remote work. The violation was Article 56, Section 40, as accessory building in the side of rear yard, and Article 56, Section 8, the floor to ratio is excessive. I guess it's just basically a little tidying up. The plans were not there, and I believe we have the plans now. So name and address for the record.
My name is Mike Joseph, 31 Wheeler Street, West Roxbury.
Ms. Better, you were on the subcommittee meeting the other day, were you?
No, actually it was Eric.
It was Mr. Robinson.
Right,
Yes, we were just missing the plans. This is a proposed 200 square foot addition for the creation of a home office. And so, did you have a chance to look at it?
I did. I had the chance to review it, and the plans are adequate. Everything looks fine.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just have that on the record. Mr. Fortune, do you want to run through the recommendations, please?
I will do that right now, Madam Chair. This is the subcommittee meeting, which was held on Thursday, June 17th at 1010 Mass Ave. First case, BOA 115-3407, 177 Coleridge Street, was a Unit 2 at a private roof deck. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 117-5423, 113 Elm Street, was an attic shed dormer. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 117-0934, 186 to 188 Emerson Street. It was to extend the upstairs dwelling unit to the rooftop construction. It was approved with BPDA. I don't know if everybody's muted. I just hear a little bit of an echo here. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
This is for BOA 116-6282, 2 Greenwich Court. It was to increase the size of usable space in the basement. It was approved with the proviso, no bedrooms in the basement. Case BOA 113-1987, 2 Copeland Park. It was an interior-exterior renovation of existing 2-family. It was approved with BPDA. BOA 116-1792, 7 Iowa Street. It was to correct work done by a previous contractor. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 11705, 26, 165 Milton Avenue. It was a kitchen renovation. It was approved. Case BOA 1163940, 1825 to 1827 River Street. It was removing a roof, adding a 3rd floor, removing a full bath. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 1171320, 5 West Milton Street. It was extend kitchen and bathroom. It was approved. Case BOA 1143606, 8 Alveston Street. It was a demo existing garage to build a new garage. It was approved. Case BOA 118-0289, 203 Chestnut Avenue. It was to create a master bedroom on the third floor, second floor bump out. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 117-7169, 320 Cornell Street. It was to finish in the existing attic space and adding one new shed dorm. Was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 117-62717 Glen Ellen Road. Was to raise the roof in existing house and adding second level of living space. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 116-7643, 199 Wren Street. It was adding a deck above the garage with new slide. It was approved. Case BOA 115-7796, 105 Corey Street. Was in addition to an existing garage. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 117-4196, 31 Willow Street, we just heard. It was to change. It was to add a pergola and home office. It was approved. And the last case, BOA 118-4282, 67 Hopedale Street, was deferred to August 24th at 12:30. That concludes the subcommittee's advisory. Need a motion?
Motion to accept the recommendation of the subcommittee.
A second, Raza.
Madam Chair, you're mute.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 118-9554, 9 Carlisle Street. This is changing the occupant from a two-family to a three-family. The violation, Article 50, Section 29, additional lot area is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 50, Section 29, the usable open space is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the front yard is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, side yard is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the rear yard is insufficient. And Article 50, Section 43, off-street parking and loading is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney John Pulgini, 10 Forbes Road in Braintree, on behalf of the owners, Henry and Henrietta Workman. 9 Carlisle Street, the zoning in this neighborhood is 3F 4,000. The lot size is 4,000 square feet. As Mr. Fortune stated, the proposal is to change the occupancy from a two-family to a three-family, repair the roof, front porches, and interior renovations. The property has always been used and assessed as a three-family. Assessing records, as you know, only go back to 1985, and it's been assessed as a three from at least then. The building has 3 electrical services, 3 gas meters, 3 water heaters, and 3 old oil tanks. I'm going to just address the violations. Additional lot area is insufficient in a 3F subdistrict.
So, hold on, Mr. Bulgini. Can you please talk through the units, where they are, how many bedrooms, their square footage?
Sure. So there's 3 units. There's no living space in the basement, Madam Chair. Unit 1 obviously is on the first floor. It's 1,147 square feet. It's 2 bed, 1 bath. Unit 2 is 1,196 square feet. That's on the second floor. That is 2 beds and 1 bath. Unit 3 is 862 square feet. That is 2 bed and 1 bath.
And can we please scroll up to Unit 3? Is there a pitch roof? What's the floor to ceiling height up there?
The architect's on the call. David, could you answer that question? It's an existing, nothing's changing, Madam Chair. I understand your question. I think
yes, I'm sorry, excuse me, the ceiling height is 8'7" on the 3rd floor.
8'7"? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support of this proposal?
Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. This is Jason Gant from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We'd like to go.
Jason, you kind of went out, so please, you want to try again? Jason, we can't hear you. Try again.
Still can't hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, sorry for the issues. So I'd like to go on record in support of this proposal. They completed a full community process with an abutters meeting.
Jason, are you done? Jason done? Okay, anybody else to speak, Ms. Ambassador?
Madam Chair, we have no additional raised hands.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, we do have a couple of letters of support.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project.
Thank you. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 118-6391, 124 to 126 Warren Street. This is to build a new 4-story residential building of wood, steel, concrete on a vacant lot at 124 and 126 Warren Street. Combine the two lots into one lot to be 191 square feet to be known as 124 Warren. Violation of Article 50, Section 29, additional lot area is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 50, Section 29, the rear yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please. Mr. Oresco on?
What's the last name? Oresco?
Oresco?
Hello there. Hello. I am here with Patrick Mahoney, attorney representing the project.
I'd like to excuse myself. Sorry.
And I was under the impression that Patrick was going to do the presentation, but I can do the presentation, no problem at all. Thank you for your time, board members. Good to be on board at the ZBA in these times. And it's a small project that replaces what was the burnt out building a number of years back. Was located on the corner here, Winthrop and Warren.
So, Mr. Oresco?
Yes,
yes, I do have a question for you. Okay, so this project has been, or this address has been before this board, at least this might be the third, possibly the fourth time in my memory. So tell us what makes this residential proposal different from the last residential proposal that we saw on this site. Because I know there was a lot of community concern about those micro units that came before. So give us some more detail about what's being proposed now.
Thank you, Chairman, for leading me in the right direction here. The difference is, I believe we were not the architects for that. My client was not the proponent there. On this proposal, we have 6 units, 2 units per floor, above a garage and lobby space there. So the difference is size, I would say. These are large 2-bedroom units, and we think they are quite attractive in terms of having exposure on 3 sides for bedrooms and living rooms and things like that. So they are.
Okay, so tell us about the average sizes of these units.
Okay. They're 1,000 square feet, okay, round number. That's a good number to work with. This is also an elevator serviced building with parking inside on the first floor. So that's what makes them very attractive units.
And tell us about how many spaces?
There are 6 spaces.
Okay.
And there are drawings here with the garage on, so I don't have control of the screen, so we can see those here. They enter off Winthrop Street. There's a curb cut there, and we're relocating that.
And a roof deck?
No roof deck.
And it looks like your design picks up some of the elements on Warren Street?
We tried to. Let me say this. There was an office. There was another presentation that my client had for office space there. He had tenants that could move in there. The neighborhood was not in favor of that. we met many, many times with the direct abutters and neighbors, and came up with a solution that mimics the building to the right, all the way to the right, and on Warren. So we're trying to pick up on the architecture there, which is what folks from the neighborhood thought we should do, and that's what we responded with.
Okay, so how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Okay, is anybody here to speak in, any questions from the board? I'm sorry. Is anybody here to speak in support of this proposal?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. This is Jason Gant from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. I'd just like to go on record in support of this proposal. They had an abutters meeting April 26th with Roxbury Path Forward in attendance and being main support. I'd just like to urge them to continue reaching out to Roxbury Path Forward for any questions or concerns in upcoming development.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Karen Foley, Councilor Asabi George's office. Would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I do have one raised hand. Ms. Lorraine, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hi, this is Lorraine Payne Wheeler. My address is 85 Moreland Street. I live in the neighborhood and organized Roxbury Path Forward Neighborhood Association. And as stated, we met with this developer many, many times. And this design does have the support of neighbors, particularly because it fits with the Victorian buildings in the neighborhood. And people were very concerned about the pudding stone wall and the Warren house next door. So he agreed that he would spare some of those pudding stones and put them in a much more modern wall space that sort of looks, it adds greenery to the building. And so then the last thing that we would ask the board is to ensure that the project is also reviewed by the Landmarks Commission. So thank you.
Thank you. I have no
Madam Chair,
additional.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan, City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty, Council to go on record support.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the project with BPDA design review, specifically to review the facade on Winthrop Street, to look at a special attention on that facade. But I must say, this is a really great improvement from the previous plan, so I commend the outreach and the communication with the neighbors and the abutters.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries. Phil, great job.
Thank you very much.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 116-6778, 1 Chester Park. This is a total renovation and additional to living space by adding to the rear of the building of the existing footprint and change occupancy from a one-family to a two-family. The violation is Article 60, Section 9. This side yard is insufficient, and Article 60, Section 9, the rear yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Philip is here. Philip, you've been unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Hi, my name is Philip Martin, owner of 1 Chester Park. Attapan, my present address is 168 Fairmont Street, Boston, MA 02124.
So was this address before this board in the past?
No, not to my knowledge. It was just recently purchased in December. It's it was abandoned building for a while, for many years, and so I've purchased it. My architect has done a design plan. He was supposed to be in the meeting. Unfortunately, he has a 12 noon appointment, so he has to leave. but I could probably answer questions as best as possible.
So tell us, how are you creating that second unit? Are you going into the basement or the attic to create that second unit?
No, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the existing footprint of the building. At the rear of the building, the wooden structural part of it is one level, and so we're just gonna bring that up to the roof line to create the second level. So we're not gonna change anything to do with the footprint of the building. We're not gonna change the footprint size, just gonna go up, and it's already zoned for commercial and two-family in that area.
So is there going to be a commercial use here?
No, not commercial use, just two.
So it's just one, two.
Yes.
And tell us about each unit, how many bedrooms and the proposed square foot?
Yeah, so each unit's gonna have, the proposed is 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. I'm still trying to work it out with architect to get 2 bathrooms for each unit. 800 square foot each unit, and the basement, we're gonna have a finished basement for laundry.
Okay, and then so tell us about how you're accommodating the parking.
Yeah, so existing the parking lot, we as you can see on the in plan LP 100, if we can bring that up, we're gonna create 2 parking, one to the west of the building, and to the western rear of the building also, for the additional parking. This is located in a private way. Chester Park is a private way. It doesn't lead into any other main street. It just comes off, what's the street called? Okay. It leads off Regis Road, and it comes into Chester Park, and then there's a pathway that goes into Blue Avenue. And to the rear of Chester Park is just a commercial parking lot for Simcoe's, which is also located on Blue Avenue.
I'm sorry, what drawing was the parking on?
LP 100.
Okay, here we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, yes.
So, okay. How are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
The plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dante Peoples here from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of this proposal. A full community process was completed on May 5th of 2021. There was a butters meeting held where there was no major community opposition raised. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we do have a hand raised. Can these ones, it looks like they took their hands down. I'm sorry.
Hi, no, it was me, Michael Chavez, the architect. I just couldn't figure out a way to talk, so that was, I raised my hand earlier, but it sounds like everything's all set.
Thank you. And it would have been Diane Simon. Are you looking to speak in support? Okay, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Diane Simon. I represent Mr. Robertson Nazir from 3 Chester Park. In regards to the plans, where he is stating that the parking lot for the property would be right now, there is a dispute in land court right now for that parking. So although he has the plans, he does not have access to that property at the moment. Also, my client is living directly across on the pathway. The pathway is 9 feet wide. It is not big enough to do a U-turn on that property. Most of the properties on the pathway is only 2-family homes. This would not be, this would cause a burden onto the street. As he stated, there's no way out of the pathway except one way. You can only back in or back out. The property does not have space for the driveway other than the pathway in front of the building, as he stated. And so I would conclude that that you guys deny his motion to make this a 2-family. This was previously a 1-family home. he may or may not have land depending on what the judge determines with the property boundary line dispute.
Okay, thank you. May I have Mr. Chavez on, please?
I'm here.
Did you update him on the business?
Mr. Chavez, can you shed any light on this?
Yes, the original property as it's shown, if you were looking at LP 100 or the site survey, there's that extension, the original extension on the property line that extends towards the MBTA rail track that's over there. That's the original property boundary from when the house was built back in 1899. But since that time, there's been some encroachment by abutters on that line just because the house has been there for so long and then used in various ways since prior to Mr. Martin's purchase of the home. So there's basically been, I think what's happening in land court is that the abutter has used that section of land for quite a long time now, and so they're going through the process of what that actually means. So if Mr. Martin were to get the property as it was shown on his deed and on the survey, then the kind of corner there of Chester Park, which is really old street, very small, like the previous person was stating, that the people would have to park that would basically be pulling in and out to kind of straight in and out to that area, whether it's a one family or two family. It's just it's a small little area, and there's an easement to get in and out of that space. So that's essentially what they're doing. If he does not get that section in land court, if that land stays with the 3 Chester Park abutter, then there probably only be one parking spot available for that home.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Can I also add?
No, hold on, Mr. Martin. Mr. Ehrlich, did you have a question?
No, that's okay.
I do have a question. How wide is the access to the parking surface right now?
No.
That easement driveway?
Yes, it's off Chester Park.
Yeah, so the easement itself, or the kind of space between 3 Chester and 1 Chester, is about 10 feet wide.
Okay, because I'm thinking even, in terms of construction, just having access for construction of the second story would be difficult.
No.
Can I chime in that, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so as the attorney for Chichester Park was noted, she's absolutely wrong.
Hold on. Okay, so let's just stop right there. So what we do is we have a request before us for a conversion from a 1 to a 2 family, at a minimum, we're told that there is possibility of accommodating 1 parking space, possibly 2 if there's no, based on what comes out of the land court. So the question is, are we comfortable with the conversion of a 1 to a 2 family? And based on that, may I, please everybody be quiet, may I have a motion from the board?
I'd like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion to have the applicant defer until there's a judgment, because my concern really is how do you get construction access? Right now, I'm looking at the Google image, and the lot is landlocked unless there is true easement access within that 10 feet of the right of way.
There is an easement.
Hold on, Mr. Martin. Mr. Chavez did the drawing, so can you speak to that, Mr. Chavez?
Sure, yeah, the easement itself is there currently and is able to be used. The land that's in dispute is that little section that's in the back there where we're showing that second parking space.
It's called Lot B, correct? The land in dispute is called Lot B on the survey?
Let me see, let me slide down to the survey here. No. I don't think so. No, it's part of the parcel. No, it's shown as that, again, if you're looking at the survey, it's the northwest corner of the lot. It's just like a little extension out, and on the LP 100, it's just shown as labeled as a parking space.
Okay.
But the easement itself is available, and so any construction vehicles or equipment coming in or out would be coming down Chester Park and then be able to access that
Okay.
easement space.
So that was helpful that you responded that they do have access in terms of that easement by right.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, great. So I would like to make a motion to approve the change of occupancy from one family to two family with BPDA design review on the exterior pitch of the dormer.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Calling the last case for 11 o'clock, case BOA 118-3399, 22 Cohasset Street. This is scope of the work will increase the square footage from 1457 to 1979 square feet, but no change to the building height. This will be an additional 8 feet to the rear of the house and add a bedroom and bathroom on the second floor. The violation, Article 67, Section 9, side yards insufficient, and Article 67, Section 9, the floor to area ratio is excessive. Name and address for the record, please.
Is the applicant here for 22 Cohasset?
Madam Chair, we have a few raised here. Let me just make sure. Michael Collins. Oh, yeah, okay. Michael, you've been unmuted?
Oh,
Sorry about
thank you very much. Yeah, my name's Michael Collins. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and distinguished members of the board. I'm Michael Collins, 22 Cohasset. I'm joined today by my wife, Lipika Samal. We recently purchased our home and currently live in the home and fully intend to reside in the home on a full-time basis.
And this is a single-family home. The home is 129 years old and requires improvements. While we perform these improvements, we desire to add 502 square feet to the house. We acknowledge the home side yard setback is a pre-existing non-conforming. We feel that our addition and renovation is compatible with and enhances the character of the home and the surrounding
I'm
home.
sorry, let me just ask you, so this is about a 500 square foot addition to the rear yard, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, how are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition to this proposal?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of the proposal. It's a modest proposal. We don't believe it will have negative impact on neighbors. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I do have a raised hand. Robert Graham, you've been unmuted. Are you here to speak in support or opposition for this case?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Madam
State your
Chair and
address
members
as well.
of the board. My name is Bob Graham, Attorney Bob Graham, 158 Belmont Street in Watertown. And I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. Jose Torres of 26 Cohasset Street, who is in a butter to this property. Mr. Torres at this point opposes this plan for very simple reasons. He basically feels that it's just basically too much, too big, too close, too tight for this already intensely developed neighborhood in Roslindale. Mr. Collins acknowledges in his application that the lots in this neighborhood are extremely narrow to begin with, that his home is already confronted with a number of non-conforming dimensional requirements, yet he proposes to expand it and put a roof deck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, so the mayor's office is in support. The abutter is in opposition, and this is for about a 500 square foot addition in the rear yard. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve with 3 provisos.
Yeah.
One is BPDA design review with special attention to the size of the exterior deck. 2 is to remove the accessory structure of the pergola. And 3 is to provide sufficient setback of the deck building edge,
From where?
from the edge of the building.
Okay, setback from building edge. Is there a second?
Correct.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with those 3 provisos. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair, it's now 12:31. I'm going to call the 12:30s for deferrals and withdrawals. So if you have a deferral or withdrawal, if you could give me the address, thank you.
Good afternoon, 168 Gold Street.
For the record, calling BOA 116-1771, 168 Gove Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Laureen Scatino from Richard Linz's office, 245 Sumner Street in East Boston. We are requesting a short deferral. We had to make some changes due to some community input, and the plans examiner hasn't had time to re-review those plans yet.
Motion to defer.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You have a date of August 31st at 12:30.
Thank you.
Are there any other deferrals or withdrawals for 12:30?
Good morning, Madam members of the board. I know 25 Vassar Street is going to be a withdrawal. There's a new owner to the property. I know that.
Are you the applicant? Ma'am, are you the applicant?
I'm from the mayor's office.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, I don't have anything here that says that, so I'll have to wait till we'll go through the process.
Mr. Fortune, was that for 142 P Street? I'm sorry, I got bumped off.
No, I don't. That was for a different one. That was Vassar Street. Are you, Mr. Okasky, are you deferring or withdrawing?
I'm seeking a deferral for 142 P.
All right, let me call it into the record then. Calling BOA 112-1328, 142 P Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mark Lacasse, Lacasse Law, 75 Arlington Street in Boston. We're seeking a deferral as we are continuing to revise this proposal for new construction on a vacant lot to make the project more zoning compliant and continue to work with the abutters and the City Point Neighborhood Association to arrive at an agreeable solution.
And how long do you think that will take?
I think if we're deferred 2 months, that would do the trick.
Okay.
Make a motion for deferral.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries. The date, please.
You'll have a date of August 31st at 12:30.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, hold on 2 seconds. Madam Chair, we do have a letter of withdrawal for Vassar Street, so I'm going to call it into the record. Calling case BOA 1130282, 25 Vassar Street. Madam Chair, I'm going to make a motion for denial without prejudice.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
One more time, any deferrals or withdrawals for 12:30? Okay. Madam Chair, would you like me to go right to the first case?
I was just going to say hope springs eternal, but yes, let's go ahead.
Calling case BOA 1158608, 254 Paris Street. This is seeking to raise the existing and erect a building with 6 residential units and 5 parking spaces. The violations, Article 27T-5, this is in the East Boston iPod. Article 53, Section 8, a multifamily dwelling is forbidden. Article 53, Section 56, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the lot area is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the additional lot area is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 53, Section 9, the building height is excessive in stories. Article 53, Section 9, the building height is excessive in feet. Article 53, Section 9, the usable open space is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the front yard is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the side yard is insufficient. And Article 53, Section 9, the rear yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano with an address of 11 Beacon Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, Odessa Capital, Stan Klebner, and we have the architect as Adam Glassman today. As was mentioned, we're seeking to raise the existing to erect a 6-unit residential building with 5 interior parking spaces at the ground level. What you're looking at is a rendering of the proposed building. If we go to the next slide, you will just see the existing structure, which right now had front yard parking is set way back away from modal. So this new project would line up with the other buildings. The lot size is 2,500 square feet. The layout of this building has the main entrance on the first level. There is a curb cut. That would be the driveway entrance to the 5 units, the 5 parking spaces that would go along with these units. The ground level will also have a lift, making it ADA accessible to the first floor. There would also be a trash area inside that first floor. As we go up to the second floor, we have Unit 1 and Unit 2. That will be a 550 square foot studio, 1 bath, and an 860 square foot 2-bed, 2-bath with a rear balcony. We go up to the third floor. It's a 675 square foot 1-bed, 1-bath with an office space. And then Unit 4 is also on the third floor. That's an 860 square foot 2-bed, 2-bath with a rear balcony. The fourth floor houses Units 5 and 6. That's 675 square foot 1-bed, 1-bath with an office. And then Unit 6 would be an 860 square foot 2-bed, 2-bath with a balcony. This building would also have a second means of egress on the left side of the building through a passageway. So there would be 2 full means of egress. Just to go over some of the violations that were mentioned, it's a 6-unit building proposed and a 3F district, so a use variance would be required. The lot area for each additional unit, we would have 500 and 1,000 would be required. The FAR is 1.0 that's allowable. We're at 2.3, which is actually down from the last time. The building height is 4 stories at 39 feet. And
So,
what's allowed is...
So Mr. Drago, remind us what happened the last time?
We just worked with our neighbors and the Civic Association to increase our rear setback. So we now have, we cut off square footage. We reduced our FAR down from 2.8 to 2.3 and increased our rear setback to 15 feet.
So, Ms. Edwards, can you get to the rendering of the building? Because I would like to see, what's the size of that garage door? Is that a legitimate size?
Was that a question to the board?
Yes, no, that's to you.
Yeah, it's a 10-foot, I believe, entranceway. So, and then there would be a 3-foot setback next to that on the left-hand side for a passageway.
Okay. Okay, and there is, I'm sorry, did you say there was a roof deck or not?
No roof deck, actually a green roof, so there's solar panels on the top, that's it.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes?
Madam Chair, I just want to, Mr. D'Amico spoke on this, and it doesn't sound like it's changed from what Mr. D'Amico had said last time. So I just want to put into the record, 254 Paris Street. He said all 5 spaces are too small. The available space cannot accommodate 5 spaces. He said request denial.
So we actually, just if I could answer that, we actually did modify. We actually have a turnaround radius. If you pull up the ground level, it's a 25 foot wide by 22 foot 6 inch between the spaces to turn around. The spaces are 7 by 18, so they're slightly compact, but in working with the Civic Association, they actually supported that because it was able to get another space in.
Are these all compact cars, Mr. Drago?
They're all compact spaces that would I mean, there's 7 by 18 and 7
You're
by.
not driving an SUV in there.
Mr. Drago, I just have to glance out my window, and everybody seems to have an SUV. I might be the only one with the compact up and down my street. So, let's get real here and just, let's do the right thing so that we don't on paper have, 5 spaces when actually, usability brings it down to 3. So let's just kind of make this work, okay?
Okay, if you pull up the parking layout, Madam Chair, it might be easier for you to see on the first page of the plans. Right, to go back. No. Next slide. I think the next, right here is perfect. So you can see the entrance point and the 3 in the back and the 2 off to the side, but that middle area was widened, so that's a 25-foot wide passage area that they could make it a 3-point turn. But if Glenwood would like that modified, that's in terms of.
Yeah, because I'm looking that you have 3 2-bedrooms. Your counts work on 3 2-bedrooms, 2 1-beds, and a studio at 550. Okay. Any questions from the board? Mark, did you have a question? No. Anybody here to speak in support or in opposition on this?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We'd like to go on record in support based on the changes that they have made and, working with the Maverick Central Neighborhood Association in East Boston. There are still concerns around the parking and the height, but at this time we do feel comfortable going on record in support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. Ricardo Patron from the Office of City Councilor Lydia Edwards. The council would also like to go on the record in support.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have letters of support.
Madam Chair, there are no hands up.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve with both BPDA and BTD design review. I think the parking is a little bit of wishful thinking.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're opposed?
Yes.
Yes, I'm opposed to, Jeff, I think there's gotta be a way that you've gotta work with your clients so they decrease their number of units and make these things actually workable. Because in this case, we're kind of selling the community short because, they're gonna have the units, they're not gonna have the parking, So motion carries because there's, this is a full board, so there are 5 members in support.
Madam Chair, can I also make a comment?
Yeah?
I oppose for the fact that you're taking up the whole lot and you're removing any usable open space. You're asphalting all of it for parking.
Okay, so motion carries, so we'll see you on another case. Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 112-1608, 297 Newbury Street. This is a change of occupancy to include marijuana dispensary, demolish the interior non-loading bearing walls. The violations Article 8, Section 7. The proposed cannabis use location was within 1/2 mile of another existing cannabis estate. Therefore, it's within Article 8, Section 7. The use is conditional. Name and address for the record, please.
Name is Chris Tracy from O'Neill & Associates in Boston with a business address of 18 Tremont Street.
So Mr. Tracy, is there anybody else on your team you'd like to introduce?
Yeah, Shane Hyde is the client and the applicant, and I'm just going to say a few words and then hand it over to Shane, if that's okay, Madam Chair.
Yes, and I'm hoping that in your few words that you will also address the 1/2 mile. Because I do know that this board approved another project in the early days that were within 1/2 miles, but that was an extenuating circumstance since they were filed within minutes of each other. So this is a few years later. So please tell us, put your comments on the record, please.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of this board. Again, respectfully seeking your approval at 297 Newberry Street for Ember Gardens to open a retail cannabis shop. We need relief from the half-mile buffer. That's why we're here, but the zoning relief in general is minimum, as that use is the only relief we need from the board. And what we've said all along is we feel that Newberry Street, Back Bay in particular, is not just the retail hub of the city of Boston, but really the New England region in general. And we feel like if one section of Boston could contain multiple cannabis shops, it certainly is Newberry Street, with the amount of tourist foot traffic, resident foot traffic, and folks from all over New England shop, dine, and use the Back Bay, especially Newberry Street. So we were unanimously approved by the BCB in late winter. My client underwent a robust process in which they gained over 250 Back Bay residents' signatures of support and the written support of over 700 City of Boston residents who agreed with us that an equity applicant, and this is a certified equity applicant, should have the opportunity to open a business in the heart of Back Bay in famous Newberry Street.
So let me just, so let's move on to the applicant.
Okay, I will say, Madam Chair, if I may, we were proud to receive Mayor Walsh's support going into the BCB because we got that resident support. We also made numerous concessions based on the community process we went to minimize and mitigate as many impacts as possible on the neighborhood. And Shane can speak to a little more of that operationally. Shane, do you want to take it from there?
So I think the last time I checked, I just want to make sure that the applicant talks through the process, and I want to know clearly what is the compelling reason that you are within a half mile of another facility.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'm Shane Hyde, 254 New Hill Ave in Somerset. The compelling reason is that we're a equity local business that's in the, as Chris mentioned, the hub of retail of all of New England, Massachusetts, and Boston in particular. We're a small business that is, since equity, locally owned by, majority Boston residents. And for an opportunity that the BCB so aptly put in our presentation before them, that the equity businesses should be allowed a chance to operate and open and flourish in this new industry in such a high profile location like Newberry Street.
No, I mean, honestly, I get that. I get the equity piece. I get the location. I still need to understand your half mile. Newberry Street is not a block long. And I need to understand what were the options on Newberry Street, on Boylston Street, and other options that you have explored so that you're not within a half mile of another facility?
Due to the nearby schools on Newberry Street and other, like in deeper down to downtown in the Back Bay, there's really only one section of Back Bay that is even open due to the requirements of schools from a state law perspective that would allow any cannabis operators to open. And we feel that we're on the part of Newberry with high foot traffic as well. And because it's Newberry Street, not Boylston, it's in our view almost a completely separate neighborhood with separate foot traffic, and would be able to support multiple businesses of this type, just like there's multiple businesses like salons and other types of businesses in the Back Bay, Newberry, and Boylston in particular. And our store in particular is an appointment-only model, and it's going to be a boutique-type setup, which is different from the other stores that have gone before this board in the Back Bay area. With the appointment setup and being able to control the customer flow, it'll be a lot different in terms of operationally than the other applicants that have come before within our half-mile buffer.
Madam Chair, I heard you reference NITA and Brookline earlier and some of the problems that they've had. So we came in the door being appointment only to eliminate that.
Hold on, Chris. Let's now just talk through the layout of your space and how your facility will work,
Sure. So the space itself is a small space, roughly 1,300 square feet in total. There will be about 6 tills, about 9 to 11 employees on staff, with 9 to 11 customers max at any one time. The deliveries would be in the back of the location, and you can see from the diagram before you, installing a lift in the compact parking spots that we have with our landlord. We'll be able to deliver product, whether in non-operating hours, to make sure that we do not disturb any residents as well as any traffic in terms of the business operations. And we'll also not block the alley with any deliveries either, as we will use a Ford Transit type vehicle that can fit into the compact space. And then from operationally, it is delivery only, appointment only rather. Customers would have to make appointments online or at the door, and then come back when their appointment slot was open. We have partnered with numerous businesses on Newbury Street, as if a customer shows up early, they can go shop at other businesses and get a discount at our store, and that will be able to let us handle the customer traffic coming in, as well as giving business to other businesses on Newbury Street as well. And so it is.
What are your anticipated hours of operation?
From 10 to 8 p.m. and that last hour from 7 to 8 will be appointment slots reserved only for Back Bay residents.
So 10 to 8 Monday, all days of the week?
Yes, but we're amendable to change those hours if these is the board.
Okay, deliveries rear, 9 to 11 employees, equal number of customers, so there's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, how are the plans, Ms. Better?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I was on mute.
Plans.
Madam Chair, they're adequate.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Madam Chair, City Councilor Kenzie Bach, may I?
Yes, please.
I'm here to strongly oppose this proposal. I appreciate you asking the question about a higher bar for being within the half mile. That was not a point push to the VCB. I will stress that this is not just within a half mile of one, but actually 2 approved locations on Boylston Street, and that the folks I represent in the Back Bay reasonably wonder whether the half mile buffer actually has any meaning, like if these just keep getting approved within a dense circle. I also just want to stress I've personally supported 5 cannabis applications in my district, understand that we're rolling out this industry. I still think that there is a time and place before your board to say when a location is just the wrong location. This one actually abuts a large residential building. I know a number of the abutters are on the call and have communicated to your board. That back alley, which is going to be used for deliveries, is completely surrounded by residences. I don't know of another cannabis proposed or existing location in the city that shares a wall with a large residential development and is as surrounded by residences as this one is. And actually, we've got applications even just a block away on Newbury Street that do not have those defects. So I just would really stress that both from the clearing the buffer kind of higher scrutiny level, which I don't think this applicant does, and from the kind of specifics of the site, this is something that really the residents that I represent are strongly opposed to, and that I definitely want to express my strong opposition to.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Faisal Sharif with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would also like to go on record in opposition. Thank you.
This is Jay Livingstone, State Representative for Back Bay. I'm also a neighbor. I live 2 blocks away from this proposed location, and I am strongly opposed to this. I've been in favor of prior applicants that happened in Back Bay. There have been 2 approved, which are within a half mile of this. Neither of them share party walls with abutters. I would doubt that a dispensary in the state that's been approved by anybody that shares a party wall with a butter with a residential building. And this is surrounded by residents who I've heard from that are strongly opposed. I think it's the wrong location for an applicant. And there's another equity applicant that's been approved by the Cannabis Board that added a location that you previously approved medical marijuana dispensary at several years ago. And it doesn't have the strong community opposition that this has. So I appreciate if you would reject this application. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have numerous letters of opposition, but we also have letters of support as well.
And Madam Chair, I have 3 raised hands. Elliot, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Elliot Laffer. I live at 90.
We can't hear you. Can you speak up?
Hello, my name is Elliot Laffer. I live at 90 Commonwealth Avenue in Back Bay. I'm the chair of the Neighborhood Association of the Back Bay. We have not opposed other cannabis applications nearby. This one is in a terrible location, directly adjacent to and sharing a fire escape with an all-residential building across the alley from the residential side of Commonwealth Avenue. It's going to have operations in the alley, including its handicap access. It is a far worse location and one that will be before you soon that has already been approved by the Cannabis Board that is also an equity applicant on Newbury Street. We ask that you reject this application.
Thank you. Mark Christopher, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, hi, my name's Mark Christo, 295 Newbury Street, direct abutter and owner of the building as well. Against the proposal, as are more than 70 people that have submitted a petition to your board, close to 50 of them being abutters, more signatures still coming in. I have a concern with the risk for safety for our residents on the backside. We share a fire escape, which gives instant access to our building. Their product line, the marijuana, as well as their cash basis operation, makes them a target for theft, as well as a target for forced entry. All of our residents are concerned about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lindsay Anderson, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Lindsay Anderson. I am the owner of 290 Newbury Street. My concern, I am opposed to this because I am concerned about parking and traffic. I find it challenging over the years to find contractors to work in my building because it's such a difficult place to park and to get through. You know, I believe there will be a lot of, you know, double parking, stopping, as well as general parking problems as a result of this.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Ms. Ambassador, one more person, please.
Okay, John, you've been unmuted. John Christo, go ahead. Can you state your name
Thank you. John Christo, 295 Newbury Street, the direct abutter. Strongly opposed to the cannabis store at 297.
Okay, so you and Mark Christo are owners of 295 then?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Additional raised hands.
And Madam Chair, if I could quickly.
So let me just try and get a response, a rebuttal, a brief rebuttal from the applicant.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I believe that some of the concerns, and we have worked strongly with the community to try to address them, and have changed multiple aspects of our operation, from the appointment-only status to not selling any single-use items, to working with some of the best traffic engineers in the city in terms of setting up the back alley location in order to make sure there's the least impact to the abutters possible. We also increased our security staff to 2 outdoors to make sure that there is no double parking in front of the store or near it, as well as circling the block at all times to make sure that there's no second transactions or any littering of any type. And also, as an appointment-based business, we'll be able to identify customers that are bad actors that will no longer be able to partake and shop at our store. So we've worked with the community, and I do want to say that we've partnered with multiple businesses on Newbury Street as a loyalty program, as well as...
Mr. Hyde, just for the record, can I just have The names of your equity partners?
The name of the equity partner is Joseph Hoffman.
Joseph Hoffman?
Yeah,
Is
from
Mr.
48 Litchfield Street in Brighton.
Is Mr. Hoffman on? No? Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, he is, I'm sorry. Yep, go ahead, Mr. Hoffman.
Mr. Hoffman, did you want to say anything? Where is Mr. Hoffman?
Mr. Hoffman, go ahead.
He texted me saying his mic is broken. I'm not sure.
Okay. So, let's go ahead. We've had a lot of information from
And
the
Madam
outside.
Chair, if I could quickly,
No, I don't know who you are. This meeting is in process. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to
Madam
deny.
Chair,
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck on your next application. Thank you.
Calling the last case for the 11 o'clock. This is case BOA 1230. BOA 102-946 55 Church Street. They're requesting a curb cut for an existing driveway for 2 off-street parking spaces. The violations, Article 10, Section 1, a limitation of off-street parking, and Article 65, Section 65-41, off-street loading requirement, location, and design. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, hi. My name is Dr. Ana Ortiz, and I'm a resident for 22 years at 55 Share Street in Dorchester.
Can we have everybody's mics muted, please? Except for Ms. Ortiz. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ana Ortiz, and I'm a resident of 22 years of 55 Church Street. I'm applying for a 2-car residential curb cut variance for my property at Church Street. The last time I presented, you requested to get an updated plan, which I have, and I submitted to you. And you can see up there, the parking space that I'm requesting is on the side of the house, on the front, but on the side. And I've gone through the whole process of that you requested from me, going to my neighbors. I held a meeting, and I have 14 signatures.
Okay, so let me, please help us remember this project. So the last time you were here, did you have like 2 curb cuts? Did you have a shed on the other side? Tell us what's different.
What is different is that my plot plan was not clear enough to be able to determine, because what I had used was the plot plan that I had when I bought the house. But I went and I got a surveyor, and I had a very clear plot plan now of where is that I intend to have my parking
Okay,
space.
so Miss Edwards, can you go back to the photograph? So it looks like you've already asphalted your driveway.
Yes, my driveway has been asphalted. I bought it as is. I had requested about 10 years ago a permit, which it was granted at the time, but I didn't know that they expired. My circumstances didn't allow me to be able to go ahead and make a new one. And make it at the time. And then when I went to request it to start the process again 10 years ago, because my circumstances are a little bit different, I'm getting older, and it's hard for me to kind of drive. I have arthritis on my knee, and then it's very hard to come at night and not get a parking. So what I did is that I went to get it, and then that's when I was denied.
Okay, so tell us, Ms. Better, can you help us with this? I know this is, so tell us what's the width of that driveway and the possibility of parking 2 cars on it?
So, Madam Chair, I do recall this project. Actually, I was probably the one that suggested to submit adequate plot plan to determine the width of the curb cut. and it was briefly shown to us, and it was just really a hand sketch. This is, for me, adequate representation of the scope of work, and she's proposing a 10-foot curb cut, and it should fit 2 cars. I don't see any issues with that.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
sorry, check secretary here. Mr. D'Amico has spoke on this one. He said the plan only reflects 1 car.
Okay, but it was advertised for 2, so we're good, we are covered on that. Thank you. Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good afternoon.
Yes, Madam Chair, my name.
This is Denise DeSantos from the mayor's office.
Denise, can you please speak up a little bit?
Can you hear me?
Yes, speak up.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairs and members of the board. Denise DeSantos from the mayor's office of neighborhood services. I just want to go on record and support this applicant. She went through the community process and support from the direct abutters and from the association. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, my name is Gail Hennessy. I'm a neighbor of Dr. Ortiz and a member of the Meeting House Hill Neighborhood Association. I have been helping Dr. Ortiz get the approval from the association and her abutters, and I fully support her request.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion for approval.
Thank you.
Second that motion, Ligris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, I'm going to call the last case for reconsideration. It's this request for reconsideration. The decision to deny the requested relief for renovation of a basement into apartment and change of occupant to a boarding house. I'm sorry, the case BOA 112-0246, 655 Morton Street. The violation is Article 60, Section 60-9, a lot area for additional units insufficient. Article 60, Section 8, the dwelling unit is forbidden in the basement. Article 60, Section 8, the lodging house use is forbidden use. Article 60, Section 9, the floor aeration was excessive. Article 60, Section 9, the usable open required is open space is insufficient. And Article 60, Section 37, off-street parking is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Ash Eichelberg, attorney at Flanagan and Associates, representing Jian Nu, property owner. The applicant, Alfonso Sierra, is Ms. Nu's architect. He's not present today, and I'll be speaking on behalf of Ms. Nu.
So, Mr. Eichelberg, you know, you've probably reviewed the tape, but we looked at this project twice, as I recall. And, you know, we definitely have a strong policy about residences in the basement. We feel that, you know, each time Mr. Sierra was here and the property owner, we gave them enough time to talk through and explain the project. You'll just have to tell us why we should reconsider a case. And
Sure.
just keep it as narrow as possible, okay?
Absolutely, and I'm happy to. It's 1 o'clock, hopefully 1:09, hopefully I'll be done before 1:15. I'll try to make it short. So in this instance, I think there is a fundamental change in circumstances about how Ms. Nu, the property owner, is going to be proceeding ideally with the premises. So initially she had petitioned the board to consider the modification of the property, use of the property as a boarding house. Instead, with input from the board and input from the community, she's returning the property to family dwelling units rather than rooming houses. So instead of 12 rooming houses, 12 rooms in 4 apartments, the plan going forward, which I think is reflected in the memorandum that I submitted, is to go forward with 3 upper apartments, first floor, second floor, third floor, and then the basement street level, it's almost a garden level essentially. Apartment would be a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, family apartment. So the memorandum that I submitted kind of goes through the legal basis for why it's reasonable for the board to allow the permit to go forward. I think it certainly is in alignment with the city's plan to increase housing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's hold on for a minute, Tom. I just want to make sure that we are listening to this in the right way. This is just to make a decision whether we should reconsider this address given the change in the application. Tom, can you correct me if I'm misspeaking?
Madam Chair, that is correct.
Yes. So, to council, to Mr. Eichelberg. So, if this is a change in use to eliminate lodging houses, eliminate boarding houses, this should be able to come in as a regular case. Why did you think it was necessary to come in as a reconsideration?
So frankly, Madam Chair, Ms. New retained my firm late last week on good advice, I think, of some folks that are in the city that she talked with there locally. So rather than withdraw the application, waste the board's time with withdrawing the application and then submitting a new application.
But there's already a decision that's been made on the application. So if we're just reconsidering it, I'm going to request that a motion be made for denial of the reconsideration, because we are denying reconsidering the lodging houses. There's nothing to prevent the applicant for putting a new application in for something else. Okay.
I agree. I would like
Madam Chair, if I could, this is the first time we heard this. The plans were completely useless, and we asked for drawings that reflect. The second time, the plans were in violation of any number of code issues. I don't see any reason on earth why we should reconsider. They have the right to go back and review and come back, but there's absolutely no basis for reconsideration. So I will make a motion to deny the reconsideration.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. That.
All those in favor?
Aye. Madam Clerk, I've got to object to your.
Any opposed? Okay, so Mr. Eichelberg, we will see you when there's a new application filed that more fully meets more of the requirements of the zoning. Okay, thank you so much. Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.